Pop in, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. Merry Christmas, everybody. Isn't that amazing? We rolled through another year and we are here together again this year, hopefully with some new characters to add to our story for the coming year. And not without my mincemeat pie. I'll give a few minutes for YouTube to get the notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and here on Sunday nights on YouTube, I hang out with my crew, and yeah, we just motivate each other, rebound our ideas, sometimes our messy days, sometimes our great days. You know, lots of us hang out on our own, and we entertain kind of a introverted life, right? And I do, but I'm so grateful that on Christmas Eve that I can actually say that I've got friends to hang out with. And here's Andrew. Melvin's here. Mary Kay made it in tonight. Hello. Hello, Mary Kay. I just grabbed myself a variation of fluids. I've got my coffee and it was still full, but it was starting to go warm. And I know our Christmas Eve lives can go for a while. So I'm going to probably need another cup of coffee. If I have a cup of coffee, I'm a connoisseur. So something stone cold is just not going to do it for me. But it's all set up. All I have to do is run over and turn the kettle on. I've also put on some spring rolls for dinner. I have my mincemeat pie. I have my mincemeat pie here for my mukbang and my fork. But I don't think I should take in this kind of sugar without having something. It's not really healthy. Spring rolls aren't really healthy, but it's something other than sugar, other than dessert. So before I dig into my pie, I'm going to actually wait for my spring rolls to come in. In the meantime, let me know what you're doing for Christmas. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Oh darn, I'll go in and then I'll fix it again. An hour ago, Mary Kay. Isn't that amazing? For Christmas Eve, you got your Christmas card? Oh, that's so excellent. I got a Christmas card from Andrew, and I got a Christmas card from Jonathan. Jonathan might pop in tonight to say hi to us. I hope so. This is the one night at the very least, if you can't stay for the whole evening, because again, it's Christmas Eve. Lots of us have things that we do with the family. Sometimes we have traditions like Andrew, and I have no idea how Andrew made it in here so fast because he sent me an email to explain that church was going to take up some of my live today, but obviously he worked around it, right? And I hope you didn't leave church early, Andrew, to come and hang out with us. I really hope you didn't. I expect that Owen's spending a little time with his parents. Do you like the lighting? You guys, and for this, I did this for you, Mary Kay. Is remember when I promised that you get to see my Buddhas and everything? But I only had a short cord on my webcam. So, and because I filmed my lives with my webcam, I couldn't get it close enough to the Buddhas. So before my live tonight, I actually put the extension on my webcam. I've got an extra 6 feet. So we're going to take a little bit of a tour of my living room and see. You won't see too much in the way of Christmas besides my stocking stuffers. My sisters came over today. Oh, and everybody, I'm going to let you know now because some of my people from Instagram might pop in today just to get the lowdown. But I had a really bad cold last week and I still have it. You'll hear it in my voice tonight. You'll hear me probably cough a few times. But I had to get tested for the coronavirus because I felt so sick. It was evident that I really truly had a cold. And so I went down and I got tested. and I was waiting for my results. And then all day, the next day, I was waiting for my results. And then in the evening, the phone rang, and it was my boss. And my boss's stores got shut down for coronavirus. So I wasn't working the past few days, my shifts, because our store was shut down. Oh, Owen made it in. Awesome. Oh, Owen got his card too. Awesome. Yeah, so what was I gonna say about that? I lost track. What was I just talking about, you guys? Just pop it back into my head. Just say something. It'll jog my memory right away when I read what I was talking about, because it was quite interesting. Kind of lost track when I saw Owen came in. Oh, yes, our store. Thank you, Andrew. Our store was shut down for coronavirus. It got into our network at work. And so it freaked me out. So for 48 hours while I'm waiting for my test, I was checking my results every half an hour to see if my results were back for my test. And I was just 100% certain that I had coronavirus, right? My boss had it. Some other people had it. Like, there was no chance. My boss drove me home a couple of times, right? And there was no way that I could have got, but I needed the confirmation on the coronavirus. And last night I got my results. My results were negative. I just have a regular old cold. I have an ordinary flu going on right now. I don't have coronavirus. So I'm grateful for that. But I had 48 hours of totally freaking out, 100% convinced that I had coronavirus. And it gave me lots of things to contemplate, right? About the important things in life, about, how much I matter, how well I take care of myself, and a person who believes in cause and effect, how that episode could have affected other people. It gave me some realizations. I gotta be a little bit more stricter on the rules. I'm gonna be a little bit more stricter in the sanitation. Right? It's not la di da di da back to how life was. And yes, I'm grateful. I'm double vaccinated, right? I'm double vaccinated. I'm grateful I'm double vaccinated. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get the coronavirus. It doesn't mean that. It just means I'm not going to die from it. If I get it, I'll be able to stay off the medical system. I'll actually be able to recover by laying in bed and taking care of myself. I actually got myself some Tylenol this week, and I wasn't taking it because I understand that symptoms are a way for your body to communicate with you. And I wanted to make sure that I got the right message from my body, that I wasn't covering up symptoms with medication and stuff, because I'm not somebody who takes medication. If you hung out with me for any length of time, I don't take medication. I would much rather suffer it out. But I promised my boss, because my test came back negative, the sooner we could get the store back up and running, the better, right? She doesn't need to be at work. She's quite capable of being a what do you call that? A lazy boy dictator. She could run a good show no matter where she is, just by dictating what she needs done, right? So yeah, the sooner I can get back to work, the better. But I can't go back to work when I'm systematic, even if it's just a cold, even if my test did come out negative. You can hear it in my voice. I am coughing. I do have sniffly nose still. So we're going to give myself a couple of days to recover. It was how it was scheduled for this week in the schedule anyway. So if she can manage without me, I think that's probably the best. And she figured the same thing out. So I'm off for the next couple of days, the next few days. Anyway, I'll probably be back to work on Wednesday. I am grateful. I got to see my family. I got to see my sisters today. We got to exchange our gifts, right? I'm wearing my pajamas. I am wearing my onesie. I'm wearing my onesie. It doesn't have a back flap, so if I have to go to the washroom in the next few hours, you guys, You'll have to look at the background. You'll have to look at the stuff that I'm going on. But like I said, Mary Kay, I do have an extension on my webcam. I don't know if you want to take a little tour of my living room right now. I don't know. Is everybody up to hanging out with me tonight, or is anybody just popping in to say hello and they got family affairs to do or anything today? Oh, good, Mary Kay. I'm I'm glad you're happy, and that's what's most important at all. We need that optimism to pull us through those tough times. Those times when we're heartbroken, or we're really sad, or we're scared, or we're super stressed out, right? We need to have those optimistic attitudes, and sometimes they're not there naturally, and that's what I do. Is then I go out for my walk, or I go hang out with Mother Nature, or I watch my metal detecting videos. I eat my treats. You guys, I don't know if you've seen it. There's my mincemeat pie. I got my fork, but I was saying to everybody when I came into my live that I'm going to probably have some of the spring rolls. My sister bought me 4 dozen spring rolls for Christmas. I had to put them in the freezer, so I had to open up the present right away. But I thought I had to eat something before I dug into this pure sugar. So I'm going to eat spring rolls for dinner. I'm going to drink my coffee in the meantime. I'm going to try and keep up with the comments because this tonight is for you guys, right? And for opening up my Christmas stocking. It's full. It's full. Then I got all kinds of stuff here. I got a present. I got a present in there. I got a present. I got a present here. I got a present here. I've got some more cards. Ooh, I found some cards that I didn't mail. I found some cards that I didn't mail out, and I feel so bad because I think I meant to take them to my work, and because my store got shut down, I wasn't able to. Oh, I can see right now there's a box of Quality Street chocolates in the bottom of one of these I can't have sugar before I have my spring rolls. I have to have something solid to eat before I get into the sugar. So, but I could see the Quality Streets, and you guys hear me talk about Quality Street chocolates all the time. These are Quality Street chocolates. In my family, these are tradition. Usually everybody in the family gets a tin. They're big, they're expensive. This tin was probably about $20 for this tin of chocolates, but they're wonderful chocolates. They're beautiful, they're colorful, they're very traditional. They sell lots of them at Christmas time. And like I said, they are a tradition in my family. Every year, somebody buys everybody. Some people get numerous tins. Some people even get the mini ones in their stocking. But growing up kids, and because I'm on my own, and one of my sisters, we do an exchange of stockings. So we do stockings for each other in the for Christmas. Excuse me, for Christmas Eve. And my sister Tracy, she gets one great big huge stocking because we all stuff everything together. So we all do a stocking for her, but huge stocking. And then so she puts them all together. And then when she watches It's a Wonderful Life, because that's her tradition. And I would love to know what your guys' traditions are for Christmas. Right? This is one of my traditions. Mincemeat pie on Christmas Eve, right? On Christmas Eve, I do mincemeat pie. And if you've hung out with me on Christmas Eve, we do these live shows, don't we? We do these every year on Christmas Eve. We usually go for a few hours, right? We usually go for a few hours. And I'm settled in, you guys. I'm nice and comfy. We're about to do a tour of my living room. Now keep in mind I've had visitors in here, right? And I do live in a studio apartment. And for some people this might be much, right? Because I can't pass up a good deal. I like my smalls. I well, you guys could judge for yourself what you think. And I'd love to know what your opinion is, right? Because in the end, it only matters that it makes me happy. These are the distractions in my life that make me happy. They make me contemplate. They make me think in good spots. They bring up happy memories, right? So this is part of my calming the system down, these smalls, how I decorate my apartment. Our surroundings are super, super important. Okay, so before I grab the webcam, I'm going to pull out my spring rolls so they don't burn because I can smell that they're ready. And I'm just going to pull these out here, turn my oven off. Yum. We're just going to let those cool off for a few minutes. Okay, you guys. Let's do a tour. Just going to grab my camera here. And this cord is 6 feet long, so I should be able to get a good view. And I'll just hold and I'll go slow. To first off, let's just come down here. This is my fireplace. And this is one of my favorite artists. His name's Moonscape. He was one of those well-to-do sons of somebody, and he traveled the world, but he was very talented in his artwork, right? And the places he would visit, he would sit down and he would paint them. His watercolors are absolutely amazing. They're from the 70s, just from the attire of the people that are in the paintings. But I've picked up a few of his pieces, but yeah, they can be varied in pricing because they're, even though he's not a famous artist, people tend to do like his art. Now, this is my top of my fireplace. This is a gallery piece that I got this year at my store that I work at. Now, let's change my lighting here. This is my, up here, you can see it just goes around. And I'm just going to change it. Boom. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, here we go. So this is my, this is all trapped all over anything. I'm not doing a very good job. Okay, here we go. Much better. Okay, so this is the top of my desk. And keep in mind, I work in a thrift shop. So a lot of this stuff is things that I just couldn't let go, that I fell in love with and decided to keep. But I was very lucky with this piece. This gentleman is out of Quebec, John Anderson, and he's very sought after in his work. And I just happened to find that piece. He's magnificent. You could just, when you just feel this piece in your hands, you could just feel the talent. You could feel the difference in the other pieces that I have. Here's a piece of my crystal here, right? And again, look at all the sparkly crystal. Yeah, that's my best piece. My 3 witches up in the corner, those were 3 clay pieces by another artist, and absolutely love them. The faces are so precise, right? So precise. Now, my cord is only 6 feet, and it just keeps getting hooked on my chair here, and I don't want to disconnect you guys. That picture up there, I dragged that around with me for 30 years. It's titled, it's the library cat. I love it. This here is all my stoneware. I've got a ton of it, you guys. I have a ton of stoneware. I get good deals at work, and I've been collecting it. Now, it's probably going to go back to my store because my manager puts on Chinese auctions in her store to raise money and stuff. And if I can't get rid of it in other ways, then definitely this is going to be something, and she can put it up for auction. Just this top shelf is worth over $1,000. This piece here is worth about $400 just by itself. It's like a birch tree, right? Whoops, I don't want to break anything. I already broke one piece just dusting, right? But that's like the birch bark on the tree peeling off. It's just love it, right? And then this here, I'm looking at the screen on my monitor to make sure that I'm showing. Now, this is just some of my taste, right? I like in Egypt, my history books. I love history. And these were some of the crystals that I grabbed when I was in Toronto. And I made that little display there. We're just coming around. These are some of the presents and stuff I'll be opening in a few minutes. Okay, this is my Mother Nature and wall that it's a totally different effect than what I have over there. But this is where I keep all my smalls. I turned it on for Christmas. I have string lights all over the place, but there's all my Buddhas right up there. And Mother Nature, I've got some crystal, I've got some of my fairies. I got my turtles. There's my brand, PrairieDodgers, right? There's my brand. There's my picture. This is the picture that Kathy did for me. Soon as I get them all done, I have 4 more to do. I'm so bad. I'm going to be working on it. That's what I'm doing for Christmas Day, is doing a Christmas post. And I'll be using one of the artworks that Kathy did for me. But yeah, so when Kathy Nichols, she comes in, right? You let her know, because that's the one she did for me, and she mailed it to me from Nova Scotia. This is my Buddha and my bank and some more crystal. I love my crystals. Actually, let me show you in here. Look inside there. Am I looking? You guys can see inside there. Those are all my rocks and all my crystals that I got. Like, I got little geodes and stuff. Like, when you look inside of them, they're all shiny and got little crystals inside of them. This is just a little table that I got set up. I don't know what I want to do with this table. I do want somewhere where I can display all my tarot cards and all my oracle cards. I get such great deals. They come into the store and I grab them, right? This is my thing. They belong with me. I even have this chart here, and it's to follow the stars, right? And I know I'm naturally inclined to understand astrology and numerology, but I haven't been studying it or anything, just because there always seems like something better to do. And there are other experts, and I understand I will never, ever, ever be that expert. So why not rely on these people that know it better than me, rather than me trying to waste my time, right? My precious time. Let somebody else do that for me, for sure. So this is some of my Indigenous art. Again, I'm grateful to have the job that I have, that I'm able to pick them up. But I picked them out. This one here with the Thunderbird, I picked that one up on my trip to Thunder Bay. I found that one in a gas station. They had a display, and it caught my eye right away. I fell in love with it, and I said, I gotta have that one, right? But depending on the area that you're traveling, because you can see the styles of the Indigenous, they're all different tribes, right? You got some Ojibwe, you got some Haida art there, you got some Cree there, you got some Blackfoot. I have Blackfoot. Where's my Blackfoot? Right there? Is that my Blackfoot? Yeah, I've got all kinds of varied interest in my artwork. I'm trying to watch the camera at the same time. I'm trying to get you so you can, because I always think somebody's house represents what this person is truly about. Now let me back out here so you can have the whole effect of my Mother Nature wall. And this is my Mother Nature wall. I don't normally have all the lights on. It's a special occasion, right? And right now I got a tarot table there, and I got all my camera gear. It's a place where I store all my camera gear right now. But yeah, I'm waiting for that perfect piece to come into the store, right? and then that wall will be done, or it'll be changed out to something else. You never know, right? And then again, this is my desk setup. I'm not going to show it to you because it's all full of all kinds of messy things, but I keep some of my favorite crystals here. Again, I score them at work. I've got all my lovebirds, my art glass there. I'm a big fan of groovers. I'm a big fan of them. They make me happy in the morning to see them dancing for me all the time when the sun comes out. And my dragonflies on my windows, they make me happy. They make me happy too. I got a few dragonflies. There's one right there. Yeah. Okay, so there's the tour of my living room. And that's pretty much the tour of my entire house, to tell you the truth, because um, the rest of it is just a bed cove. And whoopsie, don't want my desk. Because, like I said, my desk is messy. I'll be right back, you guys. Come on. I'm using my crystals to get this camera to stay in place. Is this correct? No, it's not correct. Okay, I'm going to put it here. I think it's because I have this. There. There we go. Oh, my goodness. And now I'm stepping all over the cord. Okay, everybody can hear me okay? Okay. Oh, my goodness. I even got it back to sort of normal. We can turn that off right now. There we go. Let's take a look at some of those comments to everybody and see what you guys all have to say there. You're having a spring day, Andrew. Wow, super cold here. Of course, you have my address. I don't put my return address on the card if I don't want. Well, I mean, I put the card because I trust, right? It makes you know that where to get a hold of me if you need to get a hold of me, right? Just like if the end of the world comes, you guys are going to find me in Black Lake, or you're going to find me at that amethyst mine in Thunder Bay, one or the other. Oh, Jonathan, thank you so much for the card. Actually, Jonathan, I actually went down and got the mail, and I haven't even gotten to my mail. It was in my mail stack today, and then as soon as I grabbed my mail, then my sisters came over, and then my sisters left, and I sat down, made myself a cup of coffee. I didn't even make myself a coffee. I'm drinking the same warm coffee what I made for when my sisters came to visit to drop off the stocking stuff. Oh, but I think that this is what this apartment is like too. I think this is called an efficiency apartment. I think we call them studios here just so people don't feel so bad. But I think that's what it is. It's an efficiency apartment where you just have one room, little alcove for your bed and your bathroom. And I have a little walk-in closet, right, for storage, because there's no storage anywhere else in the building, right? But for the most part, I leave my bike out here and everything. I gotta be careful, otherwise it'll just get swiped. This week again, I'm just so terrible, right? I lost my laundry basket and my jug of laundry soap. Just you turn your back for a moment and it's like gone. And it was my own fault because I put it somewheres where people will quite often leave things to donate for anybody who wants it, right? So if I see something there, like a couple of weeks ago, there was one of those dry cookers, and for making wings and things, and I think they call them a dry cooker or something like that. And somebody left it there for somebody to just take, right? And I checked it out and everything, and I remember my sister saying, "Oh, they're so good, you got to try them." But I don't eat chicken wings or anything like that, right? So I wouldn't even use it. And it's just an appliance that would pick up a whole bunch of space. So I never took it, right? But when I went to check my mail, I went and I left my basket in the same spot. And I think that somebody grabbed my basket thinking it was, if anybody needs a basket and a jug of laundry soap, you can have it, right? So that's what happened. So I'm blaming myself on that one. Oh yeah, and that's my brand. Straight across, that's my brand. I haven't changed the name of it yet. I may at some point start anew and then just move this more into into tourism or into one of the interlakes or one of the tourism groups in Manitoba. I think at some point I may pass my brand on to, right? But it's going to be worth something, right? So I've got to be smart and I've got to be careful about that. But I may start up a new brand just with my name. I haven't decided that yet though, right off the hop. Oh, air cooker. That's what you call them, right? That's an air cooker. Yeah, but my sister swears. What's your announcement, Kim? What's your announcement? I want to hear your announcement. I hope it's good news, dear. Oh, what a great name for a channel, Kim. What a great. I think that's an amazing idea, and I can help you out with the setup and stuff like that too. And if you have any questions along the way, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to help you with that. Excellent. Excellent. I do believe that everybody should have a brand, right? Everybody is good at something and you should be using that and utilizing that and building your brand now, even if you don't know what the end result of what you're going to be bringing to the table. Because, like Kim is saying, that she's going to do a creative corner, but she can expand in that in any direction. She could try out so many different things, and all of a sudden, you don't know what's that one thing that's going to go viral, right? And then once it goes viral, it's so easy to be able to do a little bit better by yourself. I do believe that for the most part, I would say 85% of us are going to be, at least in the next 5 or 10 years, be making our money online, right? And us as more mature adults, we don't want to be left out in the cold on those opportunities. I know I certainly don't, right? And I'm always looking and at ways of expanding on my brand, how I could turn it into a business, but I don't have enough of a following to utilize my following to put a roof over my head, right? So right now I'm concentrating at doing a good job, right? At keeping the brand going, moving forward no matter what, not giving up and just being bright on that, right? Just and not just bright like in being smart about it, but just being bright as in optimistic and happy that it's going to get better somehow, some way. It's going to click into place as long as I keep moving, as long as I keep expanding. And if I know that if it's not going in the right direction, I'm going to get cranked pretty good, or I'm going to end up just treading and not going anywhere. And I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm always moving forward. Man, I was into some really heavy topics. I'm just gonna take a look at here this one, but today the mitochondria. I don't know, Andrew. Do you know anything about that? The mitochondria. It's talking about two different life forms when it comes to bacteria in our bodies and their actual life forms, and how they will quite often fight each other, how they'll try and take each other down, how one will overcome another and make themselves weak. That when they're not in sync, when these two mitochondria and regular bacteria are not co collaborating and coexisting together, because that's what they're doing, right? Inside our bodies, there are two different bacteria in our bodies, and if they don't get along, they can cause all kinds of havoc. but they've tied it into aging, they've tied it into disease and cancers and stuff. So I was watching some documentaries on some of those scientific studies on it, and it explains a lot of that, right? Because they say that it gets activated, the mitochondria gets activated, and sometimes it doesn't get activated at all. But when it does get activated, quite often it's not frigid, but not healthy. It's not forming well. It has kinks. It has malformations. It has, I guess that's the word, malformed. It's malformed, right? So it ends up having problems and stuff. And this is where diseases and stuff kick in, right? And they were talking about how hereditary, how it's always passed from mother to daughter, and what happens with the sons and the eyesight problems and stuff, and the different things that it attributes to it. So I found it so interesting because I really think it's an interesting concept, because I quite often, and I'm sure lots of you out there would agree, that sometimes we feel like there's two of us inside of us, right? And sometimes we're butting heads with ourselves. We could be our worst enemies. We could self-sabotage ourselves. We could talk ourselves out of doing the right thing, and we could talk ourselves into doing the wrong thing, and vice versa, right? So, yeah, that's what I was learning today, a little bit about science. It gave me a little bit of understanding about maybe why I stayed so healthy in my life, that how it might be tied into some of these understandings that I got a few years ago on my trip home from Minneapolis, right? Now, what was in the year 2019, that trip was 2019. And I'm thinking, well, what if it was the mitochondria that got activated at that point? And that's why I'm so healthy, because as long as it's not activated, as long as it's not running, you're not going to have that opportunity to have diseases, because it's not going to have that opportunity to be malformed or start dying off, or not growing properly, or not producing properly, right? But now that it's formed, now it can cause some issues. And I'm thinking, okay, so that could account to why I stayed healthy for all my life. But what about people who have diseases? Well, theirs then, in that case, were just activated at a younger date. The breakdown time is the same, but if they started earlier, they obviously had longer opportunity to actually wear and use it, right? That mitochondria. Yeah, it was really interesting topic. And yeah, I watched a couple of documentaries, actually university sessions I was sitting in on. It was kind of interesting. Charles Dickens is on your side, Kim? That's pretty interesting. Oh, Robert made it in tonight. Merry Christmas, Robert. 100%, Kim. We're all in on that. Just let me know and I'll message everybody, and also give you a shout out to your channel. 100%. Merry Christmas, Paranormal Antics. Thank you for popping into our lives today. Oh, Kathy made it in tonight too. Awesome. Lots of writers in your family, Andrew? I know in my family there are a lot of religious people, a lot of bishops, a lot of nuns. There's a lot of priests. My uncle, who was actually my mother's cousin, was a traveling pastor, and he'd get a bus and he would pick up all his relatives and all the relative kids, and his job was to populate the different churches in the community that we live in, and he would fill up the bus and fill up these churches with his people, right? And we'd meet some interesting characters and some interesting churches that we belonged to. As long as we were Christian, it didn't matter what the denomination was, right? And he would go and he would preach there, and there would be Sunday school classes, and yeah, I had the opportunity to go to lots and lots and lots of different churches, all Christian churches though, right? I think even the Jehovah Witnesses, I think Jehovah Witnesses are Christians. I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Maybe somebody knows better than me on that one, right? I believe that it takes all kinds to make the world, right? So I am non-denominational. I don't get too involved. I have interest. Believe me, I believe because I believe the things I believe about life and death that we actually come back and do this again. I think that I have practiced most religions for very long periods of time. And I think for the most part I've done because I'm drawn to some. Obviously, with all my Buddhas, I'm drawn to the Buddhas. I'm drawn to my fairies because I have lots of fairies. I'm drawn to Jesus. I have my mother Mary and my mother Jesus. I'm into a little bit of the mystical, right? Because I have my witches. I have my crystals. I'm a little bit into the healing, right? Because I have my pranic therapy and my healer's manual, right? I have a little bit of the Christianity because I got prepare for battle, basic training in spiritual warfare. Varied interest, varied interest, right? I'm not an idiot when it comes to this, but I'm covering my tracks and I'm starting from the beginning of the history of Canada all the way to the end. So I wanted to do it in condensed form because this starts from the beginning of Canada right to the very end. And she wrote this book in 1997, so it's right up till 1997, which is fairly current, right? Even got part of the digital age in there. So I'm just going to go over everything. I'm not, I shouldn't compound this confirmation of I'm bad with names and I'm bad with dates, right? Because I don't have to be. If I put the practice and the effort in, I'm sure I would be very good. But I don't. I put that energy into the things that I think are important. And then I rely on the experts, like I said, with my tarot cards and my other healings that I do, like because I listen to and join in on the light language, right? On the different forms of healing, right? There's different all kinds, laying up the hands, right? And even crystals have healing properties. And because I'm non-denominational, I also have to trust in the basic understanding that if somebody dreamed it, if somebody believes in it, then it can be manifested, that it is manifested, right? So I have to trust that every religion is a true religion, and it also makes it so that everybody feels welcomed, right? That if it's part of my mission statement that it takes all kinds to make the world, then there won't be so many unkindnesses, right? Because that's where the unkindnesses come from, is from not understanding somebody else, the differences, right? So I make a point of including everybody who's a little bit different, and we're all different, right? Just some of us are more braver than others to admit it or to share it, right? 100%. Oh, isn't that interesting? I have a broadcaster out of Edmonton. I think his name was Bob Coe, and he was a broadcaster out of Edmonton in the 70s and the 80s. Um, we are related in the royal family to Queen Victoria and her husband, um, Prince Prince. He was actually a consort. He was actually a consort, right? But Albert, Prince Albert, right? But we ran in those circles, and we were part of the royal house. I don't think we were royalty in themselves, but I know that one of my relatives was lady in waiting to Queen Victoria. Um, oh, I hope not the cranky one. There was one that Prince Albert didn't like. She was an old cranky headmistress or something that Queen Victoria always listened to, and Prince Albert was always fanatically upset and just hated this woman. I hope I wasn't that woman. I hope I was somebody cute who wore nice outfits, right? Lady in waiting, best friend, not some old crone that just somebody didn't like. But I can see that happening because I believe that I've had a certain life, lived a certain life, had certain struggles repeatedly from one life to the next, and they would played out very similar. I am breaking some of those taboo traditions, those things that I got my self trapped out. Like I pulled myself away from narcissism. You can't fool me. I understand the tricks, and I have to trust myself too when I have these understandings that I can't be a pushover for a lot of ideas that I used to have, right? But that's where these lessons come in handy, right? And that's my experience, and I'll be able to pass those experiences along, and then it would help somebody else out too, 100%. Angry Birds made it in tonight. Oh, you kidding? Because I put a community notice up too, Angry Birds. I put a community notice up too, for to let people know that I was having this Christmas party. I do this every year, and I've been trying to talk about it in each one of my lives for the past month or so to let people know that we do this party. But we do this party every single Christmas Eve, and Cindy eats mincemeat pie. Mincemeat pie. We haven't started that because we're going to eat spring rolls, and we're going to go get those spring rolls right now. So you guys get to look at my wall there. I'll talk to you while I'm doing that, but I'm just going to get those egg rolls right now, and I'll let you know how tasty they are. Oh, there's a lot of them here. I don't think I'll eat all of those, but I'll get a good start before I... So it looks like I've got a dozen. Whoops, up there. I got a dozen here, and I got some ranch dressing. And my sister got me 4 dozen of them for Christmas. I put them in my freezer. And yes, I'm wearing my pajamas because it's a pajama party. I don't know who else out there is wearing the pajamas, but Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Cheers. What are you guys drinking? Do you guys have cocktails or do you have cups of coffee? I've got a Diet Pepsi, and I've got a cup of coffee that's lukewarm, but I've got my kettle to turn on. Maybe when I'm doing my pie. Really good. You know, I love Filipinos. They're such good cooks. But very fattening. They use a lot of oil in their cooking, right? But their food is so delicious. I worked in a plastic plant one time, and one of the chefs was all Filipino ladies. And they would do potluck dinners every night for their dinner breaks, right? Each one of them would bring a dish. Oh my goodness. It was like party time every single night, like the most fanciest dinners every single night. And God forbid if it was somebody's birthday, because their cakes were so colorful, so beautiful, right? But oh my goodness, their hair pasta, their shrimp hair pasta, their dumplings, their egg rolls. And for those of you who came in late, let everybody know that my coronavirus test was negative. I do not have the coronavirus, you guys. I'm grateful it bypassed me. I'm grateful that I was double vaccinated. That even if I did catch it, at least I wouldn't have died, right, from getting coronavirus. My boss got coronavirus. Some of her other staff got coronavirus, and she's scrambling, trying to make sure that her stores are up and running this week. And Man, she worked hard, but I think she's going to do it. She's on top of it. And she's going to try and swing it so we don't lose any money. So she's going to use any vacation time that I still have left over for this year. But next year's, she can't touch that because that's for my trip, right? I'm going down through the States next fall. So I want to make sure that I have as much money as possible because I'll be coming out of, right, buying a vehicle, and I'm going to be like broke from here on till who knows when, right? Unless there's a great windfall. And those windfalls happen all the time, right? It takes one video, might be something amazing. And for somebody, it might not seem like anything, but for 50 million people, it might be viral, right? It might mean something. And you see those characters hit those viral videos all the time. Now, I have no expectations that something like that will happen. I'm just saying that these things happen all the time. And my job is only to be optimistic, right? To keep moving forward, keep taking the lessons in, keep sharing my journey, right? And as long as I hold up to my bargain, I got to trust, right? That other part is going to take care of itself. So that's what I do. So I'm sitting here and I'm eating. So good. I love Filipino food. Yum. We had Chinese food at our staff party last Saturday. That was really good too, but I was already not feeling good, so I didn't eat very much. Yum. That sounds really good. I was going to think about, I never stop off at Starbucks. I don't drink Starbucks coffee. It's not very good tasting coffee, I don't think, right? I like my Tim Hortons coffee, and we don't have a Tim Hortons around where I live. So I said, oh, well, maybe I'll go in and I'll get a Starbucks coffee. And I says, no, don't waste your money, Cindy, right? Because, it might be a special treat for tonight, for Christmas. But you could go home and make yourself a nice cup of coffee, and you'll have an extra $5 in your bank account. So that's what I did. I didn't go into the store and buy myself a cup of coffee. I don't think I've been into a Starbucks in years. No, seriously, I haven't been into a Starbucks in years. I had Starbucks one time, and then I had to dump out like half of the cup of coffee, and then I said to fill up the rest of the cup of coffee with hot water, tea water, because it was just too strong. Oh, Mary Kay, take care of yourself, Mary Kay. Oh, don't be fighting no infection. I'm sending you all kinds. And I don't know where it needs to go, but wherever it needs to go, it's heading your way. Nancy. Oh, thank you, Nancy, for popping in. It's so much appreciated. I hope you're having an amazing Christmas, and I hope he was a nice surprise, right? And you're enjoying your day. Oh, but yeah, Mary Kay, Merry Christmas, dear. And you know where I will be tomorrow morning? I'll be on Instagram, celebrating Christmas on Instagram tomorrow. And then we'll see each other here next Sunday on YouTube, right? But maybe come back in later, ladies, and then you guys can watch me open up my stocking, which I'm about to do. About to open up all this amazing stuff. But I was enjoying this. Okay, so let's make some room here. Oh, so good. My mincemeat pie, you guys, and my fork. Don't worry, we're going to be hacking into that. But we're going to open some stocking stuff. I got so much here. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody has an amazing Christmas. I know lots of us, we spend Christmas on our own. I've been doing this, um, well, as long as I've been doing my YouTube channel since 2014, I have spent Christmas on my own, and I've probably spent Christmas on my own for quite a few years before that, too. Now, up until about 3 years ago, we were doing Christmas dinner as an entirety in the family at my sister's house. Now she got into a car accident. She had some illness, some surgeries and procedures she had to go through. She went through a pretty rough time. Then the coronavirus happened, right? Then I'm looking for work. I almost went homeless. You guys, you remember where I was today? Today, 1 year ago. Do you remember that? Oh my goodness, it was so scary. I don't think I had ever been so scared in my entire life. Like it was threatened. I was within days of being homeless 1 year ago. So grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm so grateful to be able to have nice things, right? Okay, everybody, let's open. This is the first stocking stuffer in my stocking. This is for my sister Tracy. Red plaid. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You guys, look at that. Is that just not amazing? I'm going to have to wear that tonight. Oh my goodness. I'm going to wear that tonight. Instead of wearing my onesie, I'll have to put this on. It's absolutely beautiful. I love red plaid. I love red plaid. And that's a present in itself, isn't it? Right? And yet that was in my stocking. Absolutely just love it. She knew I was going to love that one too. My sister, she picks out the nicest presents. She knows me so well. The things that will make me happy, the things that will help pull me out of a bind, right? That will probably do me a little good. She's a bit of a mother hen. You know, some of us, they don't know how to let control go, right? So I don't say no, don't do that. I appreciate the lovely gifts and and I don't beat myself up that I can be as exuberant in my gift giving as she is, because I just love. You can tell I love that nightgown. It's amazing. I got her good gifts too. I gave her good gifts too, but she really goes quite all out. Also, Christmas tradition, because I'm really good at guessing my presents. I'm really good at it. Like I can guess absolutely everything. I knew that was a flannel nightgown. I knew it was a flannel nightgown 100%. But when I saw the red plaid, I've never seen a red plaid nightgown. So I thought she got me red plaid pajamas this time. But no, she got me a red plaid nightgown. And that's a tradition. I get a new one every single year. It's that comfort, that little house on the prairie, that good feeling of feeling safe, right? Feeling safe. Now I know this one is going to be the Christmas marshmallow cookies. I don't know what they call them. Puffs. They're so good. Yeah, Viva Puffs. Oh, they're not the Christmas ones. Yeah, usually she gets me the Christmas ones with the jelly and the mint. But yeah, I only have till Boxing Day at 7 p.m. to eat my stuff. I've got a mincemeat pie. I've got mincemeat tart. I've got this big container of quality street chocolates that I've got to finish before 7 p.m. on Boxing Day. Otherwise, I'm going to have to leave it all into the laundry room on the laundry room table so that people can, right, treat themselves too. I might even do this tomorrow. We'll see how motivated I feel about ending my celebration of Christmas, because I've kind of been in my apartment the past few days. I feel like I have been on a bit of a holiday, right? Well, it's not really a holiday because I've been sick. And see, that's the funny thing about me, because in my head, I'm always thinking, oh, you could have done this, or you could have worked at this, or you could have gotten this done, or shouldn't you be doing this? And right? But I could be doing that to myself all day long and not get anywheres with that. It's just me making myself feel bad. And I've got to learn to stop that because I'm noticing that I do it quite a bit. Oh, I'm glad I made different drinks because I don't have to jump up and make a cup of coffee already because I know I'm not going to drink that coffee. I appreciate that coffee so much because now it's getting to be warm temperature. I know what this one is too. It's my McDonald's coffee. Oh, and I can't open this tin until my last tin is done. If you want a good coffee, oh my goodness, McDonald's coffee is so good. One of my sisters, she won't drink anything else except for the McDonald's coffee. Except two of my sisters won't drink anything except McDonald's. I'm not fussy because I understand money, right? One of these containers can cost over $20, right? So for me, it's important to have some favorites that are acceptable, right? That's good coffee. It's not the best coffee, but it's good coffee. But it goes on sale every once in a while. You can get them for under $10. Those are the ones that I buy. But this is a treat. 100%. This is a treat. And I'm just going to pull my messaging down. You guys pop in. Let me know where you're from. Introduce yourself to the guys. Oh, Mary Kay. This is going way back, Mary Kay. I don't know if you're still here, if you're going to come into the lives again, but yeah, I was within days. One day Owen or Andrew will tell you the story, but yeah, it was really bad. I actually had no electricity and I was trying to keep a job. I was trying to do a good job at my new job. It depended on me and it was a struggle, but I did it because I had to. But at the same time, I was under a lot of stress and I truly had no idea where I was going to be living just even a few days before I got this place. I truly thought I was going to end up homeless. It was really scary, but I will talk about that sometime. Oh, William, that's sweet of you. Thank you for letting me know you got your card. Uh-oh. This one might get me here. I think it might be a shampoo hair conditioner combo pack. This is my guess, but I think she got me stumped on this one. If I'm right, it's fluky. It's just because I'm psychic. And if I'm wrong, well, it's the first time that I'm wrong. It's a gift pack of shampoo and air conditioner. I'm so good at this game, right? Had no idea, but I took a guess. I took a wild guess. Very nice. Very nice, right? For nice quality shampoo and air conditioner. I just bought a shampoo. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to color my hair because my roots were so dark. And I'm trying to grow out these pieces because I was cutting them too short and making them part of my bangs. But when I did that, it made for a light spot there. So now I'm trying to grow them back. Now they stick out and everything. But yeah, I have to grow those pieces long again. Oh, great stocking so far, isn't it? I know what these are. These are my air fresheners. I love the Freshmatics. I don't know if any of you guys, oh, a good one, right? With coconut. Love it. I don't know if any of you guys use the Freshmatics, but I use them all the time. The Airwicks, they are so good. And especially when you have a cat litter box and stuff, and then you can set them for to go off every half an hour. At first, my cat was scared every time it squirted a little bit into the air, but then it got totally used to it, and it keeps your house smelling fresh and clean all the time. And each can even at squirting every half an hour, which is the longest one, you can have it squirt at 15 minutes or 10 minutes, all right? Set it at whatever time you want. But I set mine for a half an hour. And the can will last 2 months, over 2 months. And yeah, I really love these. I've been using these for decades, ever since they were invented and put on the market. You know it's a good product that after 10 years, it's still sitting there. Okay. Oh my goodness, she's got me stumped again on this one. Um, I'm going to say this is a twin pack of toothpaste. It's all I can come up with. She's got me stumped on it. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Pretty close. Oh my goodness. This is expensive. This is really expensive, you guys. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. That was an amazing and much appreciated gift. 100%. See, she pays attention, right, to the things that I need, and it works out really well. Now, this one here, I'm going to say it's really easy. I think this is probably a toothbrush set, probably numerous toothbrushes. There you go. Double toothbrush, new toothbrushes, new toothbrushes. Aww. What's wrong? Well, yeah. Compression socks. Oh, because your legs are hurting, Andrew? I tried compression socks. I just bought them because they looked cute. They looked like they were really high. And then I put them on, and I didn't know that they were actually for people who have swelling legs and stuff. So I didn't find them very comfortable. I actually thought they were a little bit too tight, right? This one's another thing of toothpaste. Oh my goodness. Toothpaste out the yin yang. Tons of toothpaste. I'm just reading the comments here, you guys. Gonna have a sip of my coffee here too and see if it's still at a drinkable point. I thought Mary Kay was heading out. Is Mary Kay still here, Andrew? Seemed like she was here just a few minutes ago. Aw, 100%. Said ever sweet. Well, yeah. Practicality. Aw. Well, yeah. That's very sweet. Oh, she did leave, right? Oh my goodness. I'm never going to get this stuff taken care of. Look what I got here. I got a fruit cake. How am I going to manage to eat all this food by 7 p.m. on Boxing Day? I'm not going to. Maybe I'll leave the fruit cake downstairs. I'll leave the fruitcake downstairs for somebody who didn't get an opportunity to celebrate Christmas this year, right? And we have to remember, like, not everybody gets to celebrate this way. And I don't open my stocking so that people feel bad, right? Because I know some people out there don't have the opportunity to get stockings or have people appreciate them. And I appreciate the Christmas cards. I appreciate the well wishes, right? And I send out like, oh, I hope everybody just has amazing Christmas miracles, right? Just like how Mary Kay got my Christmas card a half an hour ago. It was funny though, because about an hour ago, Prime, which is Amazon, the guy was just zooming. He did about 6 deliveries just in a span of where he's parking. Then he jumped in his car and he moved up like maybe 50 feet just in front of this building here and then jumped out again. On Christmas Eve, those Amazon workers trying their very best to make sure that the stock gets out there. Ooh, I got something in a box. I'm not going to guess this one, you guys. I can't because it's in a box. So it could be anything, but I'm opening up the box to see what's in the box. Oh my goodness, I got a $25 Tim Hortons gift card. That's a good one. That's a good one so that I can have coffees at work, right? When I'm broke or if I'm saving money and I've made this rule that I can't spend money. That in actuality, that's a great card. I like these little gift card boxes. Yeah, so if I don't have money or if I put limits on what I could spend because I'm saving for the car, I have a Tim's card. So that's really quite lovely. Have I got them all? No, there's another present in here. And my vitamins. More D3. No B12? I needed B12, but D3s are good. I've only got about 6 bottles, but you know what? Maybe I'll leave these downstairs with the fruitcake. Leave those downstairs with the fruitcake. And then somebody who needs it can have it. That was an amazing stocking, and it's still not done yet. I still got all these amazing presents. Christmas is a wonderful time. And it's not because it's just about presents. It's not, right? It's being thoughtful that you're being thought of, that somebody's thinking of you. That's why it's important for me to send out my cards by the mail. And that's why I feel bad that I have 2 cards here that should have been mailed out and they're not getting my Christmas cards. They're not going to their mailbox and have that excitement of seeing a Christmas card for me, right? Andrew, did you get your Christmas card from me? Oh, I needed new face cloths. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite cookies in the whole, I'm not going to get these eaten, right? But pink greens, I at least have to have this one. I at least have to try this one, right? But then maybe I'll leave them downstairs with my fruit cake and my vitamin C. Probably not the Viva Puffs because I like the puffs. I love marshmallows. Whoops. That was fun. That was really quite an amazing. Oh, I'm just looking forward to trying on my new nightgown. That stocking was put together by my sister Tracy. She does them for me every year. Since my divorce from my husband, well, not my divorce, but from my separation, it was a very long separation. We were separated for 10 years before we actually divorced, me and my husband, right? It was a very long, heartbreaking process. I actually had to tell him, don't ever call me again, right? Because it was heartbreaking. We couldn't get apart from each other. We were keeping making promises. We were both going broke, right? Things that we were selling to make up for plane tickets and stuff. So that was pretty amazing. So yeah, so I got this box of Quality Street chocolates. for another one of my sisters. And she gave me 2 things of treats for my cat. And my cat hasn't had this kind for the longest time. Meatball, you want a treat? You want a treat? Shouldn't do that with my teeth. I have such a hard time when I'm at work too, because when I open up bags so I can get people's items into their bags. Like in the old days, we just lick our fingers and open up the bags. Now it's so hard because you can't do that, right? Because it's just germy. You get cold on it all right away. Hello, baby. Merry Christmas. Tracy bought those for you. Treats. Yeah. Yeah, my cat loves her treats. But everybody makes a big deal about how fat she is. But she gets those 5 treats every day, and she gets her dry cat food. She eats less food than any cat I have ever had in my entire life. But she's also the biggest cat I have ever had in my entire life. And I have had some very, very big cats. Oh, my desk is getting so crowded. No wonder I don't want to show you guys my desk. It's just stuff all over the place. Aw, amazing. Great Christmas presents for my sister Alice. Wonderful. But we're not done yet, you guys. I still got more. Let's just take a break. Let's just take some of my pop. I like the bubbles in the pop for my throat. While I'm having a cold, the pop has been very good. Oh, that feels so good. What is everybody drinking out there? I saw that somebody had, who was that? Kim, who had herself a Tim Hortons maple syrup coffee. That sounded really, really good. Me, myself, I've got a cup of lukewarm coffee, and I've got my Diet Pepsi here, which I'm perfectly happy for, because I've also got spring rolls. Really, really good. Just might be the best spring rolls I've ever tasted. Sorry. Some pretty amazing spring rolls in my time. Yeah, I've had lots of opportunity, because that's a thing, right? The ladies cook them and they get their named for, Mary Jane's spring rolls. You should taste your spring rolls. They're the absolute best. And then you have a reputation you have to uphold, right? But I bet you she gets a lot of good compliments on her egg rolls. I got so many cookies here, so much food and treats here. I don't know what, I'm not going to eat it all, so I'm going to have to take it downstairs and share with my community in this building. I'm sure there's lots of people here on pensions who don't have very much money, who are actually spending Christmas on their own, right? Maybe all they'll be doing for Christmas is doing laundry, and it'd be really nice if I had a few treats. My sister made me a dessert tray. I think maybe I'll leave some treats, some tarts and stuff for her. I don't need all of that. I'm already feeling heavy and full, right? Have you guys made anything special for Christmas? I got a turkey thawing out. My sister gave me a turkey. One of my other sisters offered to bring me down a plate, but I think I'm just going to throw this turkey in the oven in the morning, because I want to put it in sandwich bags. I want to cut it up and put it in portion bags so that I can make salads and quesadillas and have quick meals, be able to make some soups and stuff, so that I'll have that meat already cooked and ready to go. So I think I'm going to do up that roast tomorrow. And because I have everything that I need to have a little Christmas dinner, because I bought a little roast beef, I thought, this week I'll make a roast beef. That'll help me to feel better, right? So I've actually spent some money on protein, because I've been feeling I need to eat more meat these days, right? And I know if I'm craving the meat, then I should eat it. It's what my body wants, right? So I coughed up the money. I'm cheap. I'd much rather buy a box of Kraft dinner for $1 than to spend $16 on a roast. But sometimes we need those nutrients, right? And otherwise, it's going to be eating peas and beans and stuff like that, and getting my protein through that. And cheese can be very fattening too, right? Could be very fattening too. Okay, let's opening up this main present from Tracy. She was the lady who did my stocking up, but this is my main present from her. So let's see what she got me. Oh my goodness. It's another one of those gift card boxes. Woohoo! I like the gift card boxes only because for somebody like me, it takes away from that need of things, right? Because I really don't need anything. I work in a little thrift shop. I can buy myself whatever I need. Oh my goodness. I got $100 gift card. Oh my goodness. For my groceries. How perfect is that? I don't have to spend any money at all for groceries. What a pretty box too, right? I'm going to return these boxes to my sister. I bet she buys lots of gift cards for people. And I've got 2 of these boxes now. So I want to make sure that they get back to her, because what a perfect present, perfect way to give gift cards, right? It's a new thing. Gift cards have only been around for 10 years or so. And at first when they came out, I was so, oh, that's so cold, right? There's no thought, no emotion put towards it. But yes, there is. The emotion is the thought to give somebody something that they needed. And my sister knew that I would be much grateful for a Tim Hortons card, 100%. Oh, that's a perfect Christmas present for me. Absolutely love that one. That's gonna help me. There's my B12s. That's the one I wanted. B12s. You guys, you got to make sure that you take your B12s for your emotional well-being, to keep your blood oxygenized, right? To keep those red blood cells count, to keep you healthy. People don't realize how important the B12s are. Now, D3s are important, especially if you live in a province where I live in, where we spend a lot of time inside in the winter because of the extreme weathers. Now, Cindy probably gets a little bit more sun than most people, but I work, right, full time in those prime hours where normally I would be outside. I definitely, and they say that 80% of the population is vitamin D3. D3 is what you want. That for the majority of people, they are D3 deficient, right? 100%. So yeah, that was a perfect 2 gift cards, right? 2 gift cards, $125. That's a lot of money, right? $25 for coffees for when I'm working, and $100 for groceries for next month. I'm good. For next month, we're going to work hard at getting some things taken care of. 100%. That helps me get a foot ahead of the game. If I can get a foot of the head of game, then I can get some of these things out of the house that I've been wanting to move forward, right? Yeah, so that was an excellent present. Here's my last one, you guys. This is for my sister, Alice. Look at how big that is. She brought me a big ho-ho bag. My youngest sister, Alice, or Carolyn. My youngest sister, Carolyn. She's how much younger than me? She is 10 years or 9 years. She's 9 years younger than I am. My sister Carolyn. She had one of my nieces. I have 2 nieces and 1 nephew. 1 niece and nephew for my sister Alice, and I have a niece for my sister Carolyn and her husband Ian, and then me and Tracy. We didn't have kids for our own reasons. I love this bag. I don't want to destroy it, but she's tied it all up with this string. Let me see if I can just get it off without destroying the bag, because I want to keep it. Well, I probably will use the bag for garbage anyway, right? Or I can fill it up with stuff. And then, I should just, I had pull the string, Cindy. It'll come undone. It's only in a bowl. Oh my goodness. Look at all this stuff. She got me a 6-pack of paper towels. You can't go wrong, can you? Right? And I'm going to have lots of cleaning. And if I've only got a few days off, I will be applying myself to getting some things done around my apartment. But at the same time, getting some things done around with my brand. Holy cow. Toilet paper too. My sister got me a big roll of toilet paper and paper towels. That's absolutely amazing. Could be quite expensive just in itself. I'm just taken care of for next month. Oh my goodness. And there's still, holy cow. A bottle of bleach. Incredible. All cleaning supplies. Look at this. Clorox wipes. I have the most amazing. Oh my goodness. Dish soap. What a great friend. She's never done presents like this before. I needed this. Oh my goodness. Some Windex. I have the best sisters. What a great present, Carolyn. I can't believe. Oh my goodness. Look what I got. I got sandwich bags. And, oh my, parchment paper. I've never used parchment paper today. And she was telling me all about it. I said, I'm going to actually try and use some parchment paper sometime. Look at it in cellophane. Oh, what a great present. That was absolutely the most amazing, perfect Christmas presents for me. I'll be able to use all of it. My desk is a mess. But let's have a sip of my coffee. You guys, I'm going to take a look at the comments here. I know, Mary Kay, you haven't left yet? "29 years old. Oh yeah, you're still a young one. I was having so much fun at 29. Those were some good years for me. Things started slowing down for me probably in my late 30s. Once I hit 35 and that time clock started ticking away, right? And then I started by hounding my husband for babies and stuff. That's when things started to go down a little bit after that, right? But, I really loved my 20s and my 30s. I think my 20s and my 30s were the best years of my life. I had some really good friends. I was married to an amazing man, right? He treated me like a queen. And that marriage was good right up to the last day when it wasn't good anymore. And I don't even remember the bad stuff at all, right? I just remember all the good stuff, and it was exactly what I had dreamed for in a husband, and I got exactly what I wanted, right? But yeah. Oh, do you, Andrew? You wash out your. That's really good. I'm not very, and that's the thing, I have my causes, right? I think the emotional well-being of mankind is like the most important thing in the world right now. That we're able to get through our lives, and not just get through our lives, but to actually enjoy life. Enjoy just the little things, the plaid pajamas, right? Enjoy even the mess of the dirty desk, and enjoy the little thoughtfulnesses, even if they just come every once in a while, right? And I've already lost one of these cards, but I guess I'll find it in my travels, right? Just so I have to double check everything before I throw anything away, right? But yeah, just understanding that we have to enjoy our lives. We have to enjoy the journey. We're not just here. One of my friends, Brian, he says, working for the man. He'd always say, working for the man. Well, who are you working for, right? And I didn't really understand it. And when he passed away, I was remembering thinking that he was just talking about wasting life, not being able to have the life that you want for yourself, have the dreams that you want for yourself. When he said working for the man, he was talking about being chained down to a life that he didn't wish for himself, right? So going back to what I was saying about how important it is just to have those moments of joy, like I'm having tonight, right? At our Christmas party. We do this every single year, you guys. We come and hang out on Christmas Eve, and it's open to anybody. You're welcome to pop into the comments and say hi, introduce yourself to the guys. And lots of people, they'll come in tomorrow on Christmas Day and they'll rewatch this in the morning. Lots of people have busy lives too, and it's grateful that everybody should have somebody to spend Christmas with. That's absolutely amazing, right? And if you could pop in and say hi, amazing. But there are those like myself, right? And for my own choices and for everybody's own choices for different reasons, we find ourselves spending time on our own on Christmas. And so we just decided over the course of the years that we were just going to hang out together on Christmas Eve, right? And this has turned into a bit of a tradition. And every once in a while, we pick up a couple of people. Sometimes we'll go the whole year and not see anybody. And then at the Christmas party, they pop in and go, where have you been? We haven't seen you for absolutely ever. But for whatever reason, they make it in on the Christmas Eve party. And that's true. Like Robert, how often do we get to see Robert, right? He pops in every once in a while, right? But it's a Christmas party and he makes that extra effort to pop in and spend some time with us, right? But yeah, what I'm going to have to email. That was a pretty ingenious present that my youngest sister thought of, all cleaning supplies. And I needed some cleaners too. And I was actually thinking today that I would like to get away from a lot of those sanitizing, right? Because if I'm reading what I'm reading and understanding what I'm understanding about germs and bacteria, I think just as much as these sanitizers and these disinfectants, they kill bad bacteria. I do believe that they kill good bacteria too, right? And we understand that we are bacteria. We're made up of bacteria, right? And I think a lot of the bacteria in our bodies, and Mary Kay would probably attest or know better than me, that there's a lot of good bacteria. I know that I used to suffer chronic yeast infections, right? And I know if I took a kid or something like that, it would make me weak and it would kill all my good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. And then the next time I would take a kid, I would have to maybe take two kids because it built up a resistance, right? Uh, that's and that's the thing too. And it's not like I make a positive out of a negative. It's just there, right? My sister said too today that things don't work out for her. It's just one thing after another, busy, busy, one disaster after another. But I say, you got to be thankful for that. And in those disasters, there are moments of comfort. Even if it's just stopping in through the gas drive-through and saying, "Can I have a double double? Can I have a cup of coffee?" and having a nice cup of coffee made for yourself, or laying on the couch, right? And doing your work, laying on the couch, but with a nice comfortable blanket on that helps you make you feel comfortable. These are the smallest things that could actually make doing something difficult fun. I find optimism in everything. I was ready to go with optimism. I was convinced that I had coronavirus, right? After talking to my manager and she said she had to shut the store down and there was coronavirus in our network, and And I was just all freaked out because just a couple of days before I had just gotten my tested for the coronavirus, and I was really had a really bad cold. And I thought it was just a really bad cold, but then after talking to my boss, I was 100% convinced that I had coronavirus. So for 48 hours, almost 48 hours, 36 hours at the very least, I was convinced I had coronavirus. And my mind went to places, right? Cause and effect. Who was I around? Is anybody around vulnerable that they really could end up in the ward, right? Because I believe that even if I didn't mean to get somebody sick, I could have done better. I could have kept myself more protective. And I'm trying to think, when did I let my guard down? And I knew exactly when I let my guard down, and my conscience just couldn't, right? Just couldn't comprehend. And then to have my test come back, and I was in shock. Like I was truly in shock that it was negative, because I had convinced myself that my test was going to be positive. But it gave me some time to reflect, because I truly, like I said, believed that I did have corona. So I have to talk to my boss, him saying that he had to shut down the store, that people were sick, and I was sick. I went ahead and I got tested. I wasn't going to phone my boss until I got the results. I was waiting for the results, but she phoned me first and said, don't bother coming into work, right? We're sick. I was convinced that I had coronavirus. And then I was in total shock to discover that the test came back negative, that it was just a cold. So I'm grateful for that. But in that span, it gave me tons of time to reflect, right? So going back to work, I'm going to be a little bit more stricter. I'm going to have a little bit better plan in place for when I do, or if I do get the coronavirus. There's so many variants out there. I think whoever, whatever, wants each and every one of us to have that experience. So some of us are going to make it through, some of us might not make it through, right? But I think it's an experience that is just not going to go away until we've at least taken it in, right? So I'm not going to expect, right? I'm just going to play it by ear. Just be optimistic. And I was, like I said, I was convinced I had the coronavirus, but I was going to play it out. I was talking this morning. Oh, I'm gonna show up every single day. I don't know where this is going to take me. I was on a ventilator, right on my last breath. I'm going to show up. I'm saying I'm going to show up. And the silly thing is I would have shown up, and I would have done it in good cheer. And I'm sure if I was taking my last breath, that it would have been something optimistic. It would have been something like, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it, right? Just keep moving forward. And it would have been something like that. But it was funny how this experience, where it took my mind, where my mind went with it, right? But I will be a lot more careful. I will be a little bit more stringent. I will be a little bit more stringent with myself when it comes to sanitizing, wearing proper face masks, sticking to the rules. But not only that, I'm going to be a little bit stricter with other people, right? If you're not well, if you're coughing, I don't want you around me. I don't want you in the store. I'm really sorry. But, right, if you've got a cough, you have to leave. It might be for other medical reasons. You might have proof, but it's going to make people feel uncomfortable. And it's the exact reason why I'm not going back to work on Sunday. She said she was going to open up the store on Sunday. Wow, that's really fast. She worked really hard and really fast to have that happen, right? But the thing is, I still hear that voice, the cold in my voice. I can still feel that cold in my voice. I'm still hacking up phlegm, right? I could still feel that I'm not well. And if I could still feel that way, the customers are going to pick that up, right? And if they know what's going down, and lots of our customers are regular, they're going to know that we were shut down for coronas. I want to make sure that I represent that store somewhere clean and healthy and ready to go, all cleaned up. We solved the issues. We were on it too. Let's get back to business, right? I don't want anybody to feel that they need to tiptoe around me, or we have to follow different precautions, or my customers have to think that I'm being unsafe and putting them in harm's way because I'm hacking a little bit or have a sniffling nose. So we're going to play this cold out that I have now. Hopefully it's gone in the next couple of days. I would like to get back to work, and my boss needs me a couple of days earlier. But as it is now, I think we're staying with my regular schedule, which means I don't go back to work until Wednesday, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. I have 4 days off this week. So we will play it out by ear. If I need to go back to work because she needs me, I told her I'm there, right? But just let her know offhand, like I'm still not feeling good, right? But if you need me, I'm there. Stick me in a back room where I'm not around people and nobody's gonna hear me, then we're good. I'm happy to come back to work, right? I'm good with that. I play my days by ear, right? So I'm just gonna go with whatever happens, and that's how I've been playing this out since day one. And I have no intentions of playing it any differently because it's working, right? I don't feel that high stress, even though I can feel it in others, right? So I try to leave myself open. I try to leave myself cheery because I think what I can add to the mix is that, right? I'm a shiner. If all it takes is me shining, I can do that. I can shine, right? And if that's all that's needed for me, if that's all I can give, then that's all that I can give, right? But I do want to contribute. I really do want to contribute. And I do believe it's our emotional well-being is what's most important right now, that we're able to move through these difficult times being the least impacted by these events as possible, right? To maybe kind of preoccupy our minds for maybe spending it online, watching too much news. I don't watch any news, but the important things get across my path. I heard about the tornadoes. I feel very bad about those tornadoes, but that information did did get to me, but it wasn't because I was compulsed 24/7 on the subject. I couldn't contribute to the matter. I couldn't save anybody. I didn't have any of that extra money to donate to the cause to help them out. If there was something I could do by sides other than sending them a little bit of light, right? Because I'm a shiner, right? Then that's what I do. That's what I do. So I try not to compulse about what's going on outside the world. If I have something to contribute, yay, wonderful, I'm in. But if I don't have anything to contribute, being sympathetic and being compassionate to situations and to others, right, will only make it so that will become compulsed about it, that I will feel guilt and shame and feel that I'm not contributing in some way. So I think it's very important that things like things that I call spilt milk, things that I don't have any control over, that I don't involve myself in them, and that helps to alleviate the stress. We all want to save the world. We can all see hundreds of things just in our immediate surroundings that we would love to just say, that's enough, no more, or yeah, you're doing great, right? Here's a little bit of help. But we can do only what we have the capacity of doing. And sometimes in our minds, we can beat ourselves up a little bit for not doing more. But the thing is, right? Sometimes it doesn't need our attention, right? Because that's somebody else's story being played out. There are other characters that have that knowledge and have that actual compulsion. Because if you feel a true compulsion, follow that, right? Because it's going to lead you somewhere. You're compulsed for a reason, right? But don't get stuck on something just because you're stuck on it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's easy just to leave the same channel on the TV forever and ever and ever, and then after a while, it's like you're not even doing it to listen to in the background while you're knitting. You're actually watching it, and the knitting becomes the secondary. Now that's just an analogy, right? But that's just the idea, right? We just don't want to get compulsed about it. And I'm what needs to come across my path will come across my path, whether it's a person or an event or if it's something in the news, if it's something I need to take on as a topic for myself, I'm going to feel that I am a little bit compulsed towards doing that. But that's the idea, not to get stuck on it, but move towards what really draws you, right? Not just because it's been repetitively shot at you consistently, because I do that. That's what mindset does. But you use that to help pull your away from things that you are compulsed about negatively, right? Negatively. Yeah. I'm going to talk about that a little bit next week, a little bit about mindset and mindfulness, and not just a little bit, about a lot of it, because a lot of where I am right now is directly through the effect of understanding, right? Um, some of these ideas of mine and that have helped me to pull myself through some of these traumatic experiences that I carried into my adulthood from my childhood, from my own upbringing, right? And a lot of this of my optimism and me moving forward is directly because I got those answers, right? And something again when we're talking about being compulsed, right? And feel the pull and the need to do things. And that's what I have. I have that pull and that need to kind of share those ideas that helped me out, right? When I most needed it, when I was lost, when I had no idea what was going on with me, right? And what was happening, why it was happening, and then to be able to have that information given to me by somebody I respected, by thought leaders and teachers and just uh, great citizens of the world, renowned ones, people that we all know, like Martin Luther King and Oprah Winfrey, right? There's so much, like the president and his wife, like, oh my goodness, Michelle Obama, I think would just make an awesome president, and I hope she starts looking in that direction. I haven't heard anything lately, but I don't keep in contact and I don't keep updated when it comes to these kind of news releases. But I understand that if it's something that I needed to be updated on, right, if I needed to send best wishes out, or right, to send some love out to somebody or recognize something, that at least, at the very least, that information, just enough information, will get across my path that I will actually be able to stay updated, just like what happened with the tornadoes last week, right? And I'm very sorry. I heard that over 70 people passed away on those. That's going to take a long time to put those lives back together, to be able to put proper housing back over those people's heads, right? Oh, eggnog. I wish I had some eggnog right now. I'm going to have a sip of my pop instead. I'm drinking pop. It should be ginger ale, but I'm drinking pop because the bubbles feel really good on my throat. And I think the odd little pop burp is actually quite good for my throat too. And I know it doesn't dehydrate me or doesn't hydrate me very much, but I'm going to be drinking other fluids. I've got juices and waters and coffees, and I bought some really nice tea today, some nice orange pico tea, some extra strong, so extra flavor orange pico tea. So I'm going to be having some tea tonight. That'll be nice. Christmas. Is this the third Christmas, you guys, that we have done with the coronavirus? No, not quite, right? Because it was right after Christmas that we started getting locked down and started these issues. So this is actually our second Christmas. The 3 Christmases ago was pretty decent. I was in a rough state, right? I was in a rough state, but at the same time, there was some exciting things going on in my life too. 2019, I had some fun things. Oh, but it was crazy town too. I remember the state of mind that I was in. And it was funny thing, right? Because when you make realizations of where you made your mistakes in life, and this was what I was going through that year, I really stirred my life up. And I understand that I almost became homeless, but that was my own doing. That was by my own choice, I have to say, right? Because I had dug myself such a hole in my limiting beliefs that when I was trying to put things back, put things back together, I was making a bit of a mess of my life, right? And because I always had people around me to take care of these things that I didn't understand, I was trying to do it on my own. Now I did it. I don't know what kind of a job I did on it, but I managed. I didn't manage very well, actually quite messy, and it still left a bit of a residue that I have to account for and I have to make right. But right, we set our small goals and we just do baby steps along the way. And again, it's that good cheer, it's that optimism that it just takes one moment, just one thought, one opportunity, and my life could change on the dime, right? And I expect that it will. It has done that many, many times in my lifetime. And even though this is an experience that I'm having online, that I've never experienced before. This digital age is brand new, right? But I've been showing up online for years now, and I expect that experience that I've picked up along the way. And as I continue to take in the lessons, and as I have conversations, and as I build my brand and build the people who become friends with me and get me and stuff, that eventually something will kick in, right? And it's again just believing that and just understanding that even if it's just the smallest of steps, right, that I can take in moving forward, if I can do that in good cheer, that's so much better than being all stressed out, being mentally unstable, being emotionally unstable, but going 100 times an hour, right? Right? And this way, I get to enjoy the ride. I get to enjoy the journey. I get to write my own story at the pace that I want to write it, right? And at the same time, be able to get compliments like Mary Kay just gave me by saying that I'm optimistic, that I have a good outlook on life, because I think I do have a good outlook on life, right? And I think it allows me so that when I do take hits in life, that I can manage a little bit better, right? That I don't fall apart because I build up resilience during the tough times, right? And there are tough times in my life. There is. And there's tough times in everybody's life, but everybody has different things that they consider tough times, right? It's like somebody who is in poverty stricken. Somebody who's poverty stricken would have different problems than somebody who has sadness also, but they have lots of money, right? So their problems are not financial, but they have other problems. Maybe they have kids who don't listen to them, or kids who have problems, or it could be absolutely anything, right? We all have struggles. We all have things that we're dealing with, and it's just a matter of how we deal with them, how to make those bumps a little bit easier to take, right? How to get this journey done without too many bumps and scrapes and bruises. And it's a process, right? Oh, hot chocolate's nice too. I like hot chocolate. I don't do hot chocolate too often just because it has so much sugar in it. But I do a lot of sweetener, and I guess I could do one of those diet hot chocolates too, because they don't taste the same, right? They don't taste the same. So you guys, this is quality street chocolates. I'm going to open this up because I'm staring at this can right in front of me. I am off my diet until 7 p.m. on Boxing Day. This is the one time a year that I do allow myself candy. And usually that candy is only allowed to be in the form of something that's homemade, like baked candy, like we do these little chocolate things with coconut. They're like little chocolate bars, little bounty bars, right? Coconut chocolate bars. But they're homemade, but they're candy technically. But I allow myself, because it's Christmas and because I consider it baking, right? And not actually candy. So, I'm trying to open up this tin of candy and it's not working out. They tape it up really good. They like to keep these candies really fresh. And we sell these cans at work. You know, people donate their cookie tins and their chocolate tins at work, and they sell so fast. And they sell like the old ones you would expect would go really, really fast. But even these ones, right? These tins, they go really well too because people put their baking in them and they hold the baking really well. Okay, I got my tin of chocolates. Look at how beautiful the box is. Look at, I've got to eat all of this, and I won't. There's lots. There's some here that I probably won't touch many at all, like the pure caramel ones. Not good for my, none of these are good for my teeth. But my favorite ones are these cherry creams and these orange creams. These are my two favorites out of the whole tin. But they have all kinds of caramels and all kinds of pretty coloring and stuff. And I'm happy I just opened up the tin. Oh, darn. Okay, Cindy, eat one. I'm feeling guilty, but if we're going to have a candy, right, let's do it online. I do this once a year, and it's usually just with the quality street chocolates. This is the only one I do. I gave up candy about 10 years ago, but my sister sabotages my Christmas Eve every year with quality street chocolate, so I've allowed myself these treats. And because I'm just totally blowing my diet this week anyway with the cold and everything, I'm not eating a lot, but I'm not eating well either. Like I made that big plate of spring rolls, and oh, they're just going to dry out there, and they were just so good. Now I'm into the tin of chocolate. Oh, so good. Mm. Oh. Oh. Oh, pure sugar, you guys. And you know what? It brings to mind, if we went back, let's just go back 400 years. And you got to meet the king and queen 400 years ago. If you were to give them this box of quality street chocolates, you would probably be knighted, right? You would probably be knighted for the exquisite, how colorful the wrapping is, number one, on the candies. But number two, at that time, sugar was really quite new when it came to Europe. Sugar was introduced to the Europeans in the late 1500s, 1600s, part of the trading, and it made it to Europe, and it was a big hit right away with the rich people, right? People lived in castles and stuff. They would actually form sugar into different art pieces. They'd even turn it into like a T-bone steak or pork chop or something. And they would color it as such, right? And these would be divvied out at parties and stuff. And then as sugar got to be more popular and they became a bigger shipment when it came to trade, sugar finally made it into the middle class homes, right? And you would have tea time. So they would make dainties and stuff with the sugar. But on top of that, they would serve tea, right? And they would say, would you like one lump or two, right? Know that saying, one lump or two, right? And that was to limit people from saying, oh, 6 lumps, please, right? Because you were only given the option of 1 lump or 2, right? And so, of course, most people would say 2 lumps, please. But it would also stop because it was still very, very costly. It had made it into the middle class, right? Of course, they weren't shaping up food and fancy desserts and stuff. But it became a status to the way you serve sugar. Now, this is so spectacular. Couldn't you imagine if somebody, say 400 or 500 years ago, got this box of chocolates? What an amazing treasure it would be. And yet somebody like me, who just a year ago was in days of becoming homeless, I have such a thing. We all grumble and complain how hard life is, how miserable life is. But in each generation, life gets better, right? In my generation, I've never known war. The Korean War was going on, right? My husband served in Croatia. He did tours and stuff. There's still wars going on in the world. But me, myself, I've never experienced war, right? I've experienced my husband getting post traumatic stress disorder, right? Because he did have a job that caused him some emotional stress, right? I didn't understand uh, trauma. Like I understand trauma now. At the time I was married, maybe I could have saved my marriage, but I don't kick myself at my failures. We learn from our mistakes. Sometimes we could stumble along and we can resolve issues, right? But sometimes we can stumble along and just make our issues worse and worse. I never worry about what I didn't get, right? I have ideas in my mind. I have potentials. I've had visions of things that I was certain I could accomplish if I wanted to accomplish, right? And if they're not realized, I'm okay with that because I'm going to realize it's going to be a different story that's going to be written out. And who's to say that that story might not be better written out, right? That we might not have uh, a better life because I made a different choice, right? I never worry about when things don't work out. There's lots of things in my life that I wish were different, right? I wish I still had my Outlander. I would be doing outdoor explores. I would be out on the road. I would be connecting with Mother Nature. Emotionally, I would be coping, right? Because this is what I did to calm my system down when I was stressed, when I was having a bad time at work, when I had struggles with keeping a roof over my head. This is how I escaped. Is I would go off onto the road and I would throw myself into my YouTube channel. And again, I can understand why my sister would find it so frustrating that I would spend so much time in saving my channel, but I wouldn't spend that time in saving my own life. But that's not how I saw it because my YouTube channel, I felt was my life. It was a big part of my happiness. In actuality, starting my YouTube channel saved me from becoming a compulsive gambler for my entire life. The coronavirus, the combination of the coronavirus and the YouTube channel starting up and me concentrating on those two things and letting everything else fall away from me, letting everything else fall apart, letting some of those important relationships become frazzled and fractured, right? That it was a good thing, that it added on to my life. It didn't take away from my life because it actually saved me from myself. It gave me that 360 that I so desperately needed because being a gambler took everything from me. It took up all my time, it took up all my attention, it took up all my resources to gamble. And I remember numerous times just praying for just the opportunity never to touch a machine. How many times did I gamble and I lost all my money and lost my rent or lost my bill money or have to go home and explain to my husband why I didn't have money for his cigarettes or his lunch or our groceries, right? I had to contribute to that relationship and that household too. And I wasn't doing it properly because I was stuffing my money into those gambling machines, right? So it's important for me to recognize the benefits of some of these things that in life that you think is a struggle, right? That you think you just can't take one more day, that it's going to break you. And then when you take a moment and you stop and you think, and I go, oh my goodness, right? If I had my car, I would be out on the road. I would be urban exploring. I would be working on my YouTube channel, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't have been studying. I wouldn't have been taking in those important lessons that I so needed to take in the past couple of years. And I needed to take in quite a bit. I'm competing in a category where there are people with PhDs and all kinds of degrees who have gone to university, who are professors. Like I'm going up against that, right? And I barely got through high school, right? I never went to college. I never went to university. I went to college, but my professor suggested to me that maybe it might not be a good idea that I continue on with school because I was working nights in a restaurant and then I would go to school straight from the end of my job and I would fall asleep in class all the time. I would just fall asleep. And after only 2 weeks, my teacher said to me, "Oh, Cindy, I don't think this is for you." And you know what I did? I took those student loans and I bought myself a TV and right? I had fun with that money. And I didn't pay attention to how I could have actually utilized that to make my life. I was so frivolous. I didn't have the ideas that I have now. I wasn't a forward thinking person at the time. I was living 100% in the moment, but no understanding that that moment was supposed to be spent in moving forward. I have no idea how I moved myself forward. I think it was just my love for life, right? Just my love for adventure that I made an interesting life for myself, that I wasn't going to let my woes bring me down, that I found coping mechanisms, right? Coping mechanism, which was the mother nature, which was the gambling. But I'm grateful for the YouTube channel. I'm grateful for the car because that got me off the VLTs. And I'm grateful now to not have a car because I got in all those lessons that I know that I wouldn't, because I was adapting, I was pivoting, and I pivoted, right, to delve into what I could mush together. And I was into the mindset. So if I can't get on the road, if I can't go urban exploring, if I can't do my bushcraft, if I can't do my back road explorations, what can I do? What else do? I do mindset. I do mindfulness. Okay, well, let's get into that. Chop, chop. Let's get to it. And that's exactly what I did. I adapted. I conquered. I pivoted. And if I hadn't done that, right? If I hadn't done that, those stresses of not having a car, right? But I had a job, those paychecks would have pushed me right back onto those video lottery terminals, being right back into a gambler, except that my brand now has become a priority, right? So I don't, number one, have the time for VLTs to be doing that gambling, right? I don't have time for that. I got more important things to do. Number two, if I have money, there are things that I want to do. There are workshops and seminars and courses and equipment, right? There's vehicles that I want to buy. Like there's things that I want to do. So I have to think of these things too. But at the same time, right? Just like Mary Kay said, I have to be optimistic that these things will happen for me, that I have to enjoy the pursuit of it, that I have to have fun with it. And this is part of my Sunday. This is my commitment to my brand and to the people who have that trust that Cindy can do it. If anybody can do it, Cindy can do it, right? And I want to blow minds. I want you to guys go, "Oh my goodness, I knew Cindy got this," right? And then be able to stick around for some of those adventures that I'm going to take us on, right? Because life is an adventure, 100%. And I think our joys are finding those adventures for ourselves, just like Andrew and his books, how much he loves his books. It helps to take away from that pain. It helps to take away from that struggle and those woes and that needing compression socks, right? Those compression socks that you were talking about, right? So it brings joy into our lives to be able to do the things that we love. But we also got to understand that sometimes some of those things that we love are taken out of our lives so that we can concentrate on something that will give us even a better life. And that is my hope for myself. That is my understanding of how this all works, right? So I roll with those punches. I stay optimistic. I stay optimistic, and I will always stay optimistic. Even through my entire life, even through the worst and worst and worst, I would stay optimistic. I wouldn't have held on to the belief that I could put my marriage back together 10 years after we separated unless there was optimism there. There was some kind of understanding that all things are possible. Things can change on a dime. I can have a 360 in this very moment that would change my complete way of thinking 100%. Okay, Cindy's been blabbering off for a whole long, so it's time for me to come back into the comments here and see where I left off and see where you guys are, what you guys are yapping about. Yeah, Andrew, I can see this world is going to get very fanatical when it comes to keeping sanitized, keeping germ free. But I do believe, being live organisms, that there is good bacteria and bad bacteria. I mean, how did we survive as cavemen? We probably never took a bath. We probably were born, and that mucus that was on us was still on us when we died. Well, and that time might have been 35 or 40 years old, because that was your maximum expected date of life, right? Like I said, we can all grumble and complain about our lives right now, but not 100 years ago. There wasn't even so much as a thing. Well, let's go back 150 years ago. There would have been no planes, right? All those people that are alive right now, living with diabetes, would not be alive right now if it hadn't been for the invention of insulin, right? Whoever thought of insulin saved many, many lives, saved so many thousands and thousands and thousands of lives. And one of those lives that they saved might have been that person that said, I've got to cure cancer forever, that so that nobody has to take insulin again. And this is how science goes. And my sister has diabetes, right? And she has numerous ways of how she takes her insulin in, whether it's from a patch or whether it's from a needle or whether it's just from a little sticky machine that she just sticks on her arm. She says she doesn't even feel it, right? You know, we don't want to see people, because I know people who've had bumps and stuff underneath their skin because of the buildup of where they take their needles and stuff. Like, these are all solutions that are coming, right? But maybe that's coming from somebody that was saved because insulin was invented, right? Somebody can make a decision right now that could change destiny forever and save lives, and maybe save that life of that person who was always meant to have the cure for cancer, or right, who was able to I was going to say get us to Mars, but we got Elon Musk now. Elon Musk has gotten us to Mars, haven't they? Now you got Jeff Bezos doing it, and a few of those big thought leaders and movement makers out there, right? And they certainly are moving. They certainly are moving, right? We always, right? Some people have the opportunity to take great big stride steps, and I expect that each and every one of us is going to have that day where we are going to be chosen to make those big choices and to make those big changes in the world, right? Maybe it's not in this lifetime, maybe it's the next lifetime, maybe it's a lifetime, hundreds of thousands of years down the road in our evolution, right? I believe that we can make choices right now that would just change us on a dime. Somebody made an amazing choice, and I would expect that we can thank some of these great thought leaders out there just for our digital age that we live in right now. right? That we have the opportunity to pull out information on absolutely anything. I am not wasting time. And this is partly, again, being thankful for not having my vehicle, my Outlander. I can cry the blues that I've lost my car, but I'm not paying car insurance right now. I'm not paying for a parking spot right now, right? I'm perfectly good taking a bus to work right now. I'm perfectly happy to be sitting here taking my lessons in rather than out there gallivanting, which could have been beneficial to others, right? If I was making some explore videos and some Mother Nature videos and stuff, those would have been beneficial too for people, right? But I think there's I think there's a bigger plan for me, right? And it requires me to take lessons in. And I think some of those things, some of those good things in our lives that we all grumble and complain that we don't have or we're missing or they've got it, but I don't, right? That some of those things are actually supposed to be missing out of our lives because it draws our attention to something more important in the moment. And I think for me, it was these lessons. I don't think if I had had my vehicle that I would have stayed put, that I would have concentrated because I am curious. I am excited. I do love Mother Nature. I do love being on a road. And that's where my heart would be, right? That's where my right? And I want to mush all my interests together. So I want to make sure that I have my lessons down packed, right? That I'm learning off of some of those smart people out there that do have the answers so that when I do have conversations with interesting people in my travels when I get back on the road, you guys, when I get back on the road in my travels that we will be able to have some amazing content, right? Some amazing insight. And that, maybe we can make that big, huge movement that I dream of, that I see for myself, that I see for the world, right? That may sound corny, but it is what it is, right? 100%. And it's my life. I have every right to pursue whatever I want in my life. And because of my ideas about life and death, if I don't accomplish it in this life, that's okay. I'll accomplish it in the next life. Or if I don't accomplish it in the next life, I will recognize it for what it is much earlier and I won't make those same mistakes. I will make different choices right away and not get myself entrapped, right? Yeah. And that's what happens to us being empaths, right? We do make movements with our emotions, and we do quite often don't make tactical decisions, but we make emotional decisions, right? And sometimes it works for us, sometimes it doesn't. I'm really looking forward to wearing my new nightgown. I'm going to wear it tonight. I really like it. I really like the red plaid. If you guys can feel how soft this feels. In my day, in the 70s, it's flannel. They use a little something different. This is a more stretchy material. Like you can see, it really stretches. It is a form of polyester, and it feels a little bit like flannel, but not really. Not really. It's almost the same fabric on the inside as the outside, and that's not the way regular flannel is. But I love it. I love it anyway. But the idea of the flannel is that cozy, safe feeling on a winter night, right? And she always gets me the 3X's, and I can look at this one. Oh, just an extra large this year. But that's okay, right? She always gets me the extra large ones because I like that big feeling. I like to feel small in something big, right? It makes me feel, like I said, protected, safe, cozy, gives you that little house on the prairie kind of feeling. It was one of my favorite shows, that Waltons, if you guys remember the Waltons, right? Okay, let's look at some more of these comments. That's nice of you guys to say, but that's the idea, right? Just to have a bright outlook, just realizing everything's going to be okay. We go through these runs, people, right? And we're coming out of, really stick one. It's been a couple of years now, right? But we're coming out of it. We're coming out of it just fine. And I think for some of us who have always struggled, right? That have always struggled, that this doesn't seem so much because we've always struggled. This just something else to add to the plate, right? So we just roll with it and just understand that there are going to be fun moments and they're going to be inspirational and motivational moments and inspiring, most of all, inspiring moments that we're going to have in our lives as we go along in these journeys. And we're going to find our happy and our joys in those moments, right? I like that too. I got some orange pico tea, so I'm really looking forward to having a nice cup of orange pico. It's a bold, it's the bold blend. I've never tried that before, but I do like the taste of tea. And being Christmas Eve, I think after my live show, I'm going to put on the kettle. I'm going to have a nice cup of tea. Um, Quality Streets, I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. I've got a lot of munchies here. I got a lot of stuff. I'm still not feeling too good. I did promise I was going to dig into my mincemeat pie, you guys. Oh my goodness. I do. I can't end my live show without digging into the mincemeat pie at the very least. Now, this isn't something I'm going to leave downstairs for the other tenants. This one, it'll take me a couple of days to eat, but like I said, I don't go off of. I'm gonna stay off my diet. Like I'm not really dieting anyway, but not watching my food, eating things that aren't good for me. And we know at Christmas time we all do that a little bit, right? But yeah, this pie for sure. I love mincemeat pie. This is not a problem. This pie, my mincemeat is not a problem when it comes to Christmas. I will devour it. The chocolates can go downstairs for the other tenants. Some of these other treats, all these cookies I got, they can all go downstairs, right? Let's celebrate and share Christmas around, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to throw it away. It's going to just end up going to waste. Or it will influence me after Boxing Day to maybe not start my diet, right? So it's important. If I say, I think I would like to lose another 15 pounds at the very least. We're going to see. We're going to see if I can do that. Really? They don't have Quality Street chocolates in the US? These are very, very popular here in Canada. Take a look at the tin again just to be sure that you don't have this in the States. These are one of the most popular chocolates here in Canada, especially at Christmas. Uh, since 1936, imported selection of caramels and fine pralines, caramels, creams, and fine pralines. And this is made in England. Yeah, so Quality Street chocolates are made in England. Imported from England. It says right here it's imported from England, but it is a Canadian tradition. And like I said, in my family, one person usually will buy everybody a tin of these for Christmas. Or at the very least, you'll get the little ones, the little tins that go in the stockings. But I get these every year. It's the only time I'm allowed to have chocolates. They're absolutely very festival in their coloring, in their packaging. I could just show you again all the different beautiful colors. And they're all caramels and chocolates in pretty wrapping paper. Like I said, all different. This is a cherry one. This is a cherry one. It's one of my favorites. I also like the orange creams, right? The orange creams. Very high quality chocolate. Um, but yeah. And even one's hazelnuts. This is a big hazelnut covered in chocolate. This is a real nut. So there's all kinds of chocolate in this tin. And in a family, when you go to parties and stuff, there's usually a box of Quality Street on the table, on the festive table, and everybody has their favorite chocolate when it comes. I know this hazelnut one was my dad's favorite. My dad absolutely loved this hazelnut Quality Street. When I was younger, this one here is a coconut and chocolate one. That used to be my favorite. Um, my least favorite is an easy one to find. Here, let me just find one of those ones, because maybe I don't have it. Maybe I got the tin that didn't get any of those. Oh no, I found one. These are my least favorite one. They're just pure caramel. These are like uh, hard caramels. Like they're softer, right? You can still bend them with your hands, but they're very toffee like. And those are my least favorite. This is my second least favorite. This is the same thing as this one, except this one is coated in chocolate, right? So that's the only difference in those. I might have a couple more of those, but my stomach is not feeling good. Maybe this cold this Christmas is going to help me get through this Christmas without eating too much of this junk, because I do have an awful lot of junk. Very pleased with my gift cards. I've already lost one of them, my coffee card. I'll have to make sure that I check all my stuff. Oh no, it's there. It got stuck together. Two. Groceries, $100. I got $100 in groceries. That's going to save me tons. And this is going to buy me coffees for a couple weeks at work, right? So I got coffee and I got my groceries. Those are amazing. And then I got so many other things that I could possibly need. Like I definitely need new toothbrushes. Yeah, just things that we wait for the new year. Okay, you guys, it's time for me to dig into this mincemeat pie. Now, has anybody here not had mincemeat pie in their lifetime? Mincemeat pie is something that has been very popular in my family. If you don't know, most of my family lineage comes from England, so we're very English in the way we eat. So I'm going to assume mincemeat is very English. We used to do Christmas puddings too. It was tradition. My mother always steamed a Christmas pudding every Christmas, and she'd always make this custard for it, and she'd always have like raspberry sauce to pour over it. It was so delicious, right? I haven't had Christmas pudding in decades either. Oh, but I do like, yes, I do. Oh, and I like teas. Green tea every once in a while when I'm not feeling good. I do like a green tea. It makes me feel good. I think green tea has lots of benefits to it. Yeah, Andrew, I agree with you. I know a few people too that are tormented by their anxiety too, and it's really sad. But again, I was talking about these micro. Oh, I'm trying to. It's a hard word to pronounce, but it was a couple of documentaries. Mitochondria. There is an illness that is attributed to that, but it's when these bacterias, when their antennas wake up, then it can actually be accepted or rejected by the other bacteria. And I think for me, that those bacterias were woken up maybe a few years ago, and that's why I haven't had prior health issues, is because those things were not woken up. And now that they're woken up, this is how I think that a few years ago, this experience that I went through actually woke up these micro, how to say it again, I'm just looking here again, um, mitochondria, woke up those bacterias that I changed that way, right? But now at this point, that possibly illnesses could set in if my other part of myself rejects that, right? Then they start battling each other. I think I'm pretty balanced. I hope I'm pretty balanced, right? I have good health. I would like to maintain my good health. Not so much. I took my first Tylenol. I bought some Tylenols for this cold because I want to get better so I could get back to my work and help my boss out in a tough situation. But today I took a Tylenol capsule because now I realize, because I got my test back, that my test did come back negative, that I don't have coronavirus, that I can now treat this cold that I have. And as long as I'm feeling good, as long as you can't hear the cold in my voice, as long as I'm not coughing and spreading germs, that somebody will get this cold, because it will be scary for them, because they'll think like I did, that they got the coronavirus. And until they get tested, they're going to have that fear in them that maybe they got the coronavirus. So I would much prefer not to pass this cold on at all. I suspect now that I am in my second week now, because I noticed for sure that I was sick last Saturday. So tomorrow is Saturday. That will make it 1 week of being systematic. So I would suspect that I'm not going to be contagious anymore, but I still feel not so good. I still feel like I have a bit of a cold, right? But as long as I'm not coughing, as long as the customers can't hear the cold in my voice, I'm ready to go back to work, right? I like working. I like staying busy all the time. I just would like to be doing a little bit. I like change, so I don't know whether I'm saying I want to do the same things all the time. Like, I want things to be more stable. I want to know exactly what I'm doing. I want to get into my lifetime routine. But the thing is, I got to understand that there are going to be new things introduced to my life all the time. And as I get rid of different things in my life, that I have to introduce new things into my life all the time, right? And if I'm going to go and lose a little bit of weight, then I'm going to have to make sure that I become a little bit more anal in some of those things that I do compulse a little bit about, right? So things that I love, I have to make sure that the things I replace my food with are things that I enjoy, which means I'll be going for walks. I'll be I'll be I'll be maybe checking into the library to see if maybe I can get into the idea mill and maybe be able to use their Premiere Pro, because they do have the system there, and maybe edit some videos for my YouTube channel. Be more active in that way. I don't want to lose some of those skills that I have learned, but I'm realizing that as I'm not using these skills, there's no point in continuing to use these skills, because there are new skills replacing those old skills that I was using. So if I'm going to go back into it, then it means learning something new, learning different programs, adding more into my channel. And oh my goodness, and without taking something off, how do you add something more? Because it has to be balanced all the time. And I have to remember that. And it doesn't just have to be balanced with just good stuff, right? This is the hard stuff, the struggle, the moving forward. That's the hard stuff, right? The good stuff is the stuff that puts your smiles on your faces, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to have in your life, the things that you want to accomplish, right? So as much as you put into it is as much as you should be able to take out of it too. And that's the way I see it anyway. I like Katharine Hepburn. I haven't seen a Katharine Hepburn movie in the longest time. I still believe that her best movie that she ever did with Katharine Hepburn was Look Who's Coming to Dinner, right? Not for the fact that it was a well-made movie, even though it was a very well-made movie, because they were touching on a topic that at the time was very controversial. Now look at that. There's a very good example right there. Look who's coming to dinner. That was, I believe, 19. Look who's coming to dinner. 1977. Correct me if I'm wrong. Andrew will double check on that for me. I'm sure when Look Who's Come to Dinner came to the screen. But when that came to the screen, we called them mulattoes, half black, half white, right? But the thing was, there's a lot of white already into the dark skinned people. So it was just that it was so unacceptable at the time, right? And we had this conversation on my Instagram a couple of months back that it wasn't too long ago that these people were the naysayers. They were the ones that had the courage to start, right? They were the Martin Luther Kings. They were the ones saying that this is okay, and you would have these interracial relationships, and they would be walking down the sidewalks holding hands, and they would be taking ridicule and looks and, right, maybe even targeted in the comments that they were getting, and yet they had to really work at these relationships. Can you imagine the success rate of these marriages? I would think they were probably pretty good, because people can get pretty stubborn, right? And they would want to show people that their marriage would succeed. And I bet you a lot of these marriages did succeed. But it was a very touchy subject in the 60s, and I think they did such a great job at bringing the conversation to the table, bringing some normalcy to it, because everybody should have a right to choose the partner of their dreams, right? Who they want, who most suits them. And we add to those difficulties because they're not marrying this person for us. What we think of that person they've chosen as a partner is not going to affect our lives in any way, but yet we think we have a right to have a say in somebody else's life. It just seems a little bit ridiculous to me sometimes, right? But it was a great example. And the way they touched the subject, and they did it delicately, they did it funny, they brought humor to it, they brought the seriousness to it, and they brought, like I said, they brought the topic to the table for open for discussion, and we moved forward because of that, right? What if that movie did not come to the table? What if that movie wasn't released? How many years would it have taken for us to move forward as far as we had now? There was a little bit of a stink last year about Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I don't know how. We're just using them as an analogy because it kind of fits into the conversation about the movie and stuff. But what if that movie hadn't been made? What kind of setback would it have put in place? Is there a possibility that we might have still had those attitudes even these decades forward, right? What if the Wright brothers hadn't invented the plane when they did? The plane, I'm sure, would have been invented, but maybe it wouldn't have been invented until the 1950s or the 1960s. Well, what would have that have done to World War One? Or what impact would have that have happened to dropping the bomb on Hiroshima? Those things would not have happened, right? Because somebody made a choice, somebody made a decision, somebody ran with the ball, and we progressed. Evolution happened, right? We made a choice that changed destiny, right? Just in another choice. Yeah, it's interesting when you look at it that way. I find it very interesting sometimes, these topics, because just the smallest things can impact life altogether. I heard, like, something as simple as New York. I heard that they released a whole bunch of feral cats into the city, right, to take care of the rat problems and stuff. Can you imagine how that would help in spreading disease? How it might control maybe the virus of different plagues and stuff that are going to continue to hit us. We're just coming out of the coronavirus, right? But I was watching a program. I can't remember what it was. I wish I could give credit to it, but I was watching a program that was going to say that's going to be the norm, that when we take our booster shots, it will be a yearly thing, that every year there will be a new coronavirus. There'll be a new version of something. Oh, I think it was, could it have been Jeff Bezos? Somebody was having a conversation. It was decades ago, but it was pertinent to what was going on now. What was it? It was somebody who was doing a little bit of fortune telling, right? And had gotten it right. Somebody in my thought leadership that I just took this lesson from just a couple of days ago, and seeing if I was paying attention, I would remember exactly who it was that had made this statement. But I even forgot the statement now because I was so concentrating on who this person was. So I've forgotten already what I was gonna talk about. Oh, I love hazelnut coffee. William, it was nice that you popped in this Christmas. We're tying it up. We usually go until about 10 o'clock every year on Christmas Eve, right? And it gives us an opportunity just to appreciate each other. And, you guys, I appreciate all of you guys that you show up in here. 1967. Oh, see, I was right. 1967. But yeah, that was a really great movie. It was really well acted. It brought an important topic to the table. Oh, I didn't know that, Andrew. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Andrew. That's really interesting. Yeah, definitely. Really interesting. But a touchy subject, right? And I was actually looking at Arkansas, going to Arkansas and everything, and I do understand that there are relational tensions still going on. And I'm not making light of Black Lives Matter, right? But it is a process. It goes slow, but it doesn't go slow because, like I said, if that movie hadn't been made, I'm sure we wouldn't be as far ahead right now as we are, right? Mm. I just feel like gargling with that pop. It just feels so good. I've done a lot of talking today too. I've been talking to family members. I've been talking to my boss today. I did my live show on Instagram. I got outside for a little bit. I was a little bit excited for the day because it's a little bit of a change to my normalcy. But we get back right back to it. But I'm going to take some things off of my plate. I don't know what I'm taking off my plate yet, but I know I'm taking some things that I spend too much time watching. Now, I may unsubscribe from some of my favorite channels. We'll see if we can manage to do that. But I don't believe that we're going to lose mindset. We're not going to lose mindfulness. We're not going to lose history, right? We're not going to lose understanding emotions. We're not going to lose these things, right? But we are going to lose some things that do take up some time, right? That do take up some time. But I want to add on to some other content that I find interesting, right? Some of these other healers that heal differently, right, than I do. It's not that I don't believe in what they're doing, because believe me, if it's been thought of, it's been realized, it's true, it happens. And I sometimes, like I said, I rely on the experts. So even though I could put that time into learning it, into practicing it, into utilizing it for myself and maybe others, if I'm not pulled to it, if I'm not resonated with it, I would much rather leave that to the experts. I have met some experts in their fields that are great healers in their own right, they do things a little bit differently than me, but I resonate with it, right? I feel it. I feel like it's part of me. And even if I'm not being the one that's dictating it, that is presenting it, that at least I am searching out the best in those fields and I'm taking in those lessons too. And a lot of it is not lessons, a lot of it is gifting, right? And I've come to realize that too. And I'm trying to do that a little bit myself just by being aware of what I bring to the table, right? Because I know I bring my journey to the table. I know I bring my lessons to the table. I know I bring my own experiences to the table, right? But I would like to make more use out of that. And I'd like to move forward with some of these understandings at the same time, letting go of some of the understandings that I still understand. I still believe in them, but I'm going to leave those more to those experts, and I'm going to utilize that for myself just so that I don't have to put that work in myself. I'm willing to do the work, but I'm doing different work and maybe work that will benefit these people just as much as it benefits others, right? Or benefits myself. So we all bring into that potluck dinner. We all bring in our favorite dishes, understanding it takes all kinds to make the world, and this world should be full of amazing people with amazing gifts sharing their gifts, right? Not share, don't have to share the information because that's your gift, right? And if you gave that gift to somebody else, it might not work as well for them. They technically might have it, but it was a gift given to you. You're the one who feels it. You're the one who creates it in itself. You're just sharing it out. And that's why I said that sometimes I will just leave it to the other expertise and then just bask in their gifts, right? And hopefully you guys bask in mine. I do a lot of yapping here. I certainly do a lot of yapping. But like I said, oh, guess who's coming to dinner? Yeah, 1967. I saw that word guess who, and I said, that's what I've been listening to today was some guess who, a little bit of Burton Cummings. I had the music on when I was cleaning and organizing my house for my guests today. Yeah, but we're moving away. We're getting smarter, Andrew, right? And we're becoming more accepting that it takes all kinds to make the world. And I do believe we're moving into a world where we are not going to struggle with wars anymore. We're not going to tolerate it. We're mankind has evolved way too much. We know those are silly ideas of giving up our lives for a cause? Are you kidding me? We've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, and what has it given us? It really doesn't give us anything except innovation, right? In times of trouble, because that it does. Innovation does produce innovation, right? Because we're looking for solutions. We're looking for solutions. But I think we're coming out of that stage where we're going to find that warring and not getting along with others is going to be a solution. We don't need that anymore. I don't think we need to war anymore. I think we're coming out of that. I think we're going to go into sportsmanship. I think that's a good way to say who's the strongest, who's the best, right? Let's have a competition, and let's do that competition in good spirit, in good sportsmanship. Shake the hand of the loser just as much as you shake the hand of the winner. 100%. Really, Frank Sinatra did that, eh? That's amazing, right? And you got to look at it, right? Because you look at these movie stars, and let's talk about Justin Bieber. There you go. You think he's a punk kid who's multi billionaire or millionaire, whatever he is, spoiled, gets in trouble, big mouth. But oh my goodness, so many people follow his journey, and he is on a journey, and he's turning into such an amazing person. And I've been keeping a half eye on Justin Bieber and the changes that he's been making in his life, and he's turning into an amazing person, and he's making retribution for anything that anybody thought that he was being difficult in, or maybe what he had in limitations that he thought he was being difficult in. But he's making a difference. People follow him, people listen to him, right? He has a great opportunity to lead others into being better people, right? Because it is majority rules. It's going to be majority rules. And wow, wouldn't it be amazing that if all these people that were so different, that just had these one or two or three little gifts that they had, that made them so different than everybody else, because we're all different no matter what. We're all different. So why can't all the different ones get together as a whole and become a majority? It's possible, right? It's possible. Yeah. But we get stuck in these other communities, and we call those religions and political ideas, don't we? Family traditions. And then we end up having arguments and warring with each other, butting heads with each other because we have different ideas. But I think if we just move forward just with our own values, just our own values, just right, and find your groups that way, right? And then those groups can get smaller at that point. I suspect, right, with the way things are going now, that people are going to be born and just be more guarded, more controlling in their life, more controlling in their surroundings, right? But all we're doing is protecting those emotions. But unless we get hurt, unless we struggle, unless we resonate with things, we're never going to find solutions. So that's why I say, like, if all you can do is the most baby step, you don't want to feel the pain, you don't even want to know what the pain is, but you got to move forward. You got to move forward. Just take the tiniest steps forward, right? Just the tiniest time, and just repeat that tiniest step until you're comfortable with it. And once you're comfortable with it, then make another little change, but always moving forward, right? If we could only do it in baby steps, that's all we can do it. And sometimes the baby steps are the best way to do it in order to come out of it healthy, emotionally, right? And mentally. Okay, Cindy hasn't even had a bite of her mincemeat pie. She's about to end her live show for Christmas Eve 2021. Cheers, everybody. Hold up your drinks. Let's hold up Cindy's cup of coffee. Cheers, whatever drink that you've got in your hand right now. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me all through the kookiness of me working through some of these ideas that come across my paths, right? That you let me have fun as I'm learning, that you let me take it in small steps, that you actually enjoy this and treat it, right? We're all just trying to get through some rough times together, trying to do this in a way that we're going to come out of this. When this is all over, when we're able to go back to sense of normalcy, we're going to realize what we're doing right now, this new life that we're building for us right now, that we have already moved into that new normalcy. But we did it in a way that we stayed connected to each other, that we didn't close ourselves off from possibilities, new relationships and new friendships, new possibilities, you guys, for something a little bit better, right? And we know this. We're just going to hang out together until this is all over, right? Then it's just going to be something else. And then we're just going to keep hanging out together. This is what we do. We adapt and conquer. Okay, Cindy's putting her first mouthful of mincemeat pie into her mouth. Mmm, 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 mmm. So sweet. Oh my, oh, Almost so sweet, it's almost like a pickle feeling, when you bite that pickle, you go, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar, you guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Each and every one of you is so important. I talk about you guys all the time to my friends at work, to my people on Instagram. I think you're absolutely amazing. We've gone through a past couple of years, even in our early life, right? Our childhoods, early adulthoods, what we sacrificed to make other people comfortable, right? To make sure that others are taken care of, even when it was to our own detriment and our own health or our own emotional well being. We are the light in the darkness, right? And today was a little bit of light on Christmas Eve, right? To hang out together, right? And we hang out together every Sunday. But this is something special. This is something that we started, didn't we? Owen and Andrew. I think Melvin was here our very first year. Nancy was here very first year. I think Kathy was here very first year. And we've been sticking together and we've been doing this every year, every Christmas Eve. And every year we pick up a couple of new people come and hang out on our channel. And you know what? Next year will be even better, right? Cindy's working on that car. We're going to add more to the channel, but it's about enjoying our life, right? Making that movement, being curious, making friends, making community. Community is huge. Everybody needs to have a community. And we're so lucky to live in a digital age that we live in right now, that we actually have been able to get Christmas cards from each other, you guys. We got Christmas cards from each other, right? That's important. That's connection, right? That's community. And you guys, next year, I want you on my Christmas card list. If I don't have your address, you're not getting a Christmas card. Just DM me on my Instagram. Give me your address. I have a book right here. It's my addresses for everybody. And I will have this. I almost didn't get my cards out on time this year because I didn't have everybody's addresses. Okay. My voice is going on me, you guys. I'm going to take a look at these last few comments here. I won't be able to resist at answering anything. If you have questions or statements or something I find interesting, I'm probably going to pop up. But we're going to call this a night. Cheerio. Oh, I haven't heard that in a while. Cheerio. Yeah, thank you. Oh, no, thank you for coming and hanging out with me every year at Christmas. Oh, that sounds like fun, making my own ice cream. I would like to do that. A couple of times I thought of buying ice cream machine. My sister Alice makes the most amazing chocolate mint ice cream. Keto. She diets all the time, right? My whole family, we've always struggled with our weight, but yeah, my sister, she makes keto ice cream. And it's delicious. Oh, no, thank you, Owen. Thank you, Owen. Every week showing up. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for moderating my lives, and thank you, Mary Kay. Always, you're such a beautiful contribution to this brand, 100%. And I thank you very much. I know you're a very busy lady doing important work out there. All of you guys are doing important work, right? All of you are. And even if you don't think you are, right? You wouldn't be here right now unless you were meant to play out in my story. And I can guarantee you that 100%. Each one of you is important. Okay, everybody. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to everybody that's going to pop in later and watch my live, because I know my friend Dave Mukow hasn't shown up yet, and he will be in. He will be in later, I am sure. Sharon hasn't popped in, but I know she does family Christmas, and hopefully her and her son is having an amazing Christmas. If you pop in later, leave something in the comment, and I send you out Merry Christmases 100%. Everybody, we'll see each other on Sunday. What's today? Oh, we're going to see each other day after tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Merry Christmas, everybody. Ho, ho, ho. Bye-bye.